You should be proud of your head, Steve.
I think we're live.
Hey, Silbert Shirt Cookie.
Give me I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'll take a break now. No, I'm kidding.
There we are.
There we are.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at Timmy. Look at that. Timmy turned to the Batmobile.
Yeah, right.
That's cool. I like that.
Thank you.
Oh, I got a beam in. Hang on. There I am.
What would it be? Oh, I got
a beat in.
Yeah, hi, Silbert Shark Cookie. How you doing?
Who are you talking to?
I don't know.
Steve, let's see if we can figure it out together. What are we going out on?
I don't know.
What are we doing the show?
We're going out on a limb.
What do we do? What format, what platform are we doing this show on?
I'm sitting on a chair. It's my platform. Wait, the Batmobile just shrunk.
Yeah, I shrunk for a second.
And now it looks like the Batmobile's floating, don't it?
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
Oh.
There, that's better. Okay, I think I'm ready to do this. I'm just showing up. There we go. Okay.
I don't remember the Batmobile having teeth and eyes, but that's okay.
Of course it did.
Welcome back. We're just trying to get started here.
Yeah.
We should have more. We should have Goat's Cock here.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say he wasn't going to show up, but when he doesn't tell us anyway.
Yeah.
That's how disrespectful our cast and crew is here.
Cast and crew.
I don't know. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm not used to doing this, hosting it.
Hosting what?
Tupperware parties, Steve. Tupperware parties.
I don't think Steve realizes we're on YouTube.
I don't understand why you. What do you mean you're not used to hosting it?
On OBS.
Oh, you mean that thing? Oh, okay.
Because I'm having to look at us through OBS.
Oh.
Instead of the Zoom chat stuff. That's part of my problem. I need to have this on the external monitor. Sorry. This is why people have theme songs and silent, and don't show up until like 20 minutes into their show, because we're like worse than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest trying to get this thing going.
That was.
Tell us about yourself. Is it Sobert? Is that? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Tell us about yourself.
Anyway, Steve, you played a song on your show today.
Damn right I did. Damn proud of it.
Oh,
How many times did it burp?
It's Barry Manilow. What's the matter with you? Did you do something that we needed to?
The plane.
We needed to be punished.
No, it was his birthday today.
I don't care.
Oh.
I don't care if it's Christmas. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it on my show.
Well, I played Barry Manilow Christmas sometime.
Oh, there you go.
And what's wrong with Barry Manilow? He's written some good shit.
Okay, see, but he didn't write the songs though.
Yeah, he didn't.
Who wrote? I write the songs.
Bruce Johnston from the Beach Boys.
Oh my God!
Oh, he wrote that song?
Yes. But I heard that Barry wrote the bandstand theme. So why don't you just play the bandstand theme?
I thought about it, but I played the bandstand boogie too many times.
Bandstand.
Dumb song. Well, of course it was a dumb song. Look who sang it and wrote it.
Now, what I like though is Barry Manilow's cover of "Let's Hang On" from Four Seasons. He kind of spruced it up.
He's just one of
Four
those.
Seasons kind of boring.
He's one of those people that put his politics first, to where he just became insufferable. Just.
Don't pay attention to their fucking politics.
How can you not pay attention when they're in your face with it, telling you they want you to die? Then why do you still go out and buy their records? Then it's like I don't care what they think behind closed doors. That's their business. But when they start getting up there, and just doing all that shit, then that's enough.
Well, when I see him doing the politics thing, shoving it, then that's when I've had enough. But I never saw Barry Manilow get.
You never pay attention to him.
He was
I just
kicked
listened
Him
to
on
the music.
anything.
I don't want to get into that, but
Yeah.
let's just say that he was kicked off The View for being too radical
For the View.
for The View. And I
Wait,
don't I don't mean radical as in like somebody that they wouldn't like to. Never mind. You know what I'm talking about.
How can you be any further left than the View and get kicked off of that?
Because they had a person on their show that I don't want to go into it.
Well, you gotta tell me now.
They had a person on their show. They used to have somebody that was kind of a moderate. And
Okay.
I don't want to. Basically, it has to do with the big A issue. And she was pro L instead of A. And he refused to go on the show unless they kicked her off the show. And I guess who was it? Barbara Walters that was in charge. Basically told him to pound sand.
Yeah.
Well, when I play stuff, usually I don't really give a damn about their political views.
Did you even hear anything I said?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to say it again. You know, Kansas City had a really pretty like Christmas tree thing in the 50s.
Well, wait a minute. No, I want you to say it all. No, I'm kidding. I mess with you.
That's what reruns are for.
Yeah.
Eating uranium cutely.
Yeah. It's good for you.
Is
It's
it?
got lots of minerals.
Yeah, Rob was wanting Terry to help him mine for uranium. And it was in one of the recent fun hours, and Terry says, "It sounds kind of dangerous, Rob. Wait, don't they sell it at the drop-in shop? I think it's next to the light bulbs." He's like, "I think you're making that up, Terry." Yeah. So right now, I'm putting. I had a service caption the last page, not the last page, but I want her for myself the new film. So now I'm going through and proofreading the captions. And the person that did this isn't as good as the one that did Last Page of Summer. I mean, the Last Page of Summer, they were spot on. In fact, the end, do you remember that climax scene with the crane? The music, they said dramatic psychedelic Western music.
Nice.
I'm like, that's pretty good. And this one, it just says uplifting music or upbeat music, no matter what's playing. Even when it plays the Hogleys, upbeat. I'm just like, who's doing this? It's not the same person anymore. And they keep calling Rob Zen Bob. I'm just it's like every 2 or 3 sentences I'm having to make corrections. I'm not quite as pleased this time, but I don't want to like say a bad review. I don't want the person to get fired or anything. But it's a little disappointing this time. It's expensive. They doubled their price. But you know, that was 5 years ago. Everything doubled. You know?
I pay.
Well, of course. What you doing, Steve?
Breathing heavy.
I'm
still here, by the way.
He's my
I'm still
You
here.
you growing a beard, Steve? Because I'm actually thinking of getting rid of this one.
Oh, why is it growing in? I can't. I have my glasses on. I can't tell. I haven't looked at myself in a while. Oh, I do need to shave, huh?
Do what you could do to cosplay at Comic Con, Steve.
Not show up.
Get some white like grease paint and like a what do you call it? Like I don't know, an eyebrow, but make your head into like a softball, baseball.
Oh, that would be a nice sight.
Well, you don't have to be bored. Say something sober. What would you like to talk about? We're just trying to get into the groove here.
Yeah.
I mean, you are on the Transforama channel. I am working on a new Transforama video, and I hope to release it in about a week or so. Now I got the film back done, I'm back into doing that stuffs again. You two are just not even here.
I'm gazing at the camera.
What are you doing, Steve?
Sitting here.
So anyway,
Hollywood land here.
did you notice the intro to Fat Albert sounds like a cat throwing up?
I thought it sounded like Seinfeld.
No, it's like bloop, 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 bloop. Like I just picture like a cat, you know, when it starts to do that thing.
Yeah, I can't remember if I watched that show much. It just seemed like, for some reason, being a white kid in Northern California didn't really relate to my life all that much.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't hang out in a junkyard with my friends that much, though it seemed pretty cool to do.
Yeah,
It seemed kind of like because it wasn't like a landfill with, you know, seagulls and nasty stuff. It was just kind of like cars and TVs and things, like a
right.
scrapyard. Um, oh, somebody showed what Sanford and Sons shop looks like now. That was interesting. Oh, Steve, I got a request.
Mm-hmm.
How about Dire Straits' Heavy Fuel?
Ah, I always thought it sounded like they were singing Elevator Fuel.
It does. It didn't sound like heavy, unless he said
Yeah,
heavy fuel. I didn't even
yeah.
look at the lyrics. I bought that CD for my mom because she heard it at the beginning of
Heavy
it.
fuel.
Heavy Fuel. It's a pretty good one.
Dire Straits.
I think they meant like coffee with caffeine in it.
Well, the whole thing was like, I don't care if my liver is hanging by a thread. I don't care if my doctor said I ought to be dead. When my ugly big car won't climb this hill, I'll write a suicide note on $100 bill. 'Cause if you wanna run cool, if you wanna run cool, you got to run on heavy fuel. I think that's what he says. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that song. It's the same album that had Calling Elvis. But it's the only
nice.
Dire Straits thing I ever bought. I bought it for my mom because I treated her to see John Denver for Mother's Day, and they played like that entire album, you know, beforehand on the speakers. So she liked it, so I'm like, I bought it for her.
Ah.
And
Yeah, I got one. I got one Dire Straits album too. I got Brothers in Arms.
that was a big one. But and then Mark Knopfler, the lead singer, became like, or he uh, liked my Timmy Ross animator actor page, which that was way out of left field. I'm like,
Nice.
Mark Knopfler likes your page. I'm like, Dad, do you know? Are you friends with Mark Knopfler? She's like, yes. Yeah, I told him about your page.
I'm still here. Vicky brought dinner.
I thought that's why you
Absolutely.
disappeared a half an
What were
hour
you
ago.
doing for 20 minutes when we all we saw was your picture and you didn't say a damn word? Oh dear. Trocadero. Parking. Boy, you can have parking.
This thing that I am here started on a Transforama. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what's neat about doing these Transforamas is because a lot of times they grow songs, and they
Right.
also give me new avatars.
So that was before Saturdalia? Because I remember the Batmobile and the big chase scene in Saturdalia.
Oh, you're right. It did originate in Saturdalia. That's right. So it started out in Saturdalia, and then I used it in Transforama years later. Good catch. Although I think by the time it was in Transforama, I did some work on it, and all the it appears all over the place in these films, but sometimes it's orange,
Yeah.
and I'll just make it a different color.
Or you could turn it back into the Futura and see if anybody notices.
You know, there's these. I see on the Face album book, these people will post a picture of a. It's obviously a Futuric reproduction, and they're like, "This is the '55, the original Futura," and then you look up. You know, it's about 70% people that believe it,
Yeah.
And then you
Well,
got
what
some that say no. Look at the wheel arches. This is a reproduction, and this it's
Yeah.
like half Batmobile, half Futura. And some people say it's AI, which I wouldn't doubt.
Well, AI still really F's things up. But there was a company, and they about 15 years ago got obtained the rights to make replicas of the Batmobile, and you could buy them, and they'd put them on like Crown Vic chassis, something like that, and you could get like the simple one or the really balls out one. And they, after a few years, made a replica of the Futura.
Right. I wonder how the replica sold compared to the Batmobile.
Yeah, I don't know how many they built. It may have just been one, or they might have made a couple of them. But CGI still, I'm not CGI, yeah, the AI still didn't do cars. My good friend Casey, he posted a picture of what was supposed to be a Challenger. And boy, howdy, it kind of almost looked like a Challenger, but the proportions were off. The side window, the door windows had vent wings, and it had three pedals and an automatic shifter.
So tell me this: how did Yeah, I remember you said before he took it down. Uh,
Yeah, I was about to comment on it and it disappeared.
well, tell me this: how does a Challenger? This was like a 70, right?
Yeah.
How does it look with vent windows?
It doesn't work. I mean, because it
I've always liked the look of vent windows. I
oh,
think
me too. Well,
they
actually, though,
classy it up.
you can do it with the because the Challenger, the window line is all curved. But then again, so is my Imperial, my '69 Imperial, and it had vent windows, very small ones.
You could have
And
probably you probably could have used the Imperial window on the not like you'd want to, but you probably could use them on the Challenger. You just have to the window would have to be trimmed, the bullet
yeah,
window. Uh, yeah, GM. I thought they made a mistake in the '69 with their full size cars by getting rid of that window. I just think they look better with it.
I don't know what happened. I think there was something about car thefts back then, people being able to open the vent window too easily or whatever. I
Well,
don't know.
it seems like that could have been an easy fix without removing
Yeah,
it.
you would think.
And uh, well, Chrysler in '74 or '73, one of those, they went back to them again. Remember the Imperials and the New Yorkers? They had them. They looked
I'd have to
very.
look at that.
If you look at a '74 New Yorker
Oh,
or a,
right, the big the when they went all squared off again. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right. You're
yeah,
right.
they even had the shoulder hips. They weren't fuselage anymore. They went
Yeah.
totally backwards into like the early '60s again with that, and I think they look good. Uh,
Well, I think they were influenced by the Lincoln, the Mark III and Mark IV, going into that up and down vertical style again.
yeah, and shoot, the late '70s. I guess it was the town car. It was or it might have been the Continental. It was the big Lincoln, the 4 door.
Yeah,
I guess they made 2 doors.
yeah. They call it. It was still called it was the Lincoln Continental Town Car.
Yeah, but
The
it
big.
it kind of went back to a '60s look. They had the trunk lid kind of did the lip down on it, and
Yeah,
it had the shoulder hips again. It looked very conventional.
yeah.
I like those looks. I wasn't a big fuselage fan. Uh,
Well,
it's okay.
the big Continental, I think it went all the way to '79,
Yeah, I think
and
it did.
it was the last holdout of the really really big American cars.
I think so. Yeah, Ford was like the last one to finally let go.
Yeah.
Of course, the '78 Eldorado was still the huge one.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was because GM was going through their little transition too, because the '76 was the last year of the big giant Cadillacs,
yeah,
but the
all
Eldo
their
held out until I
all
think
their stuff
'78
was
or '79.
downsized in '70,
Yeah,
except for the holdout was the Eldorado.
right.
And Ford, their full size Fords went through '78.
Yeah, because yeah, GM did the big switch in '77, Ford did in '78, and then
'79.
Chrysler '79.
The '79 Ford was the downside.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because the '78 still had the '73 body style.
Yeah.
But boy, they just all look like ass in the '80s. How would they? I can understand trimming the fat. I mean, yeah, the cars were unnecessarily big and small inside, and yeah, they could have been better proportioned. But good grief, they just uglied them up.
It was like 1960, and it was like when the tail fins disappeared, they didn't know what to do. I think actually Ford with the 59, even it still had a little bit of finnage to it, but it went kind of got away from the really swoopy style. I think it was the probably the most modern looking 59 of them all.
Yeah, Chrysler was the last to let go of the fins with the
Yeah, they
61 Imperial, but that I think in 62, 61, they almost did like they did in the 80s. They just made the cars as boring as they possibly could. It's kind of like you're saying they didn't know what to do when they went out of the 50s. So
yeah, they just didn't have a direction to go
I mean,
in.
I don't think there's any early 60s cars that I would have wanted to buy, I was looking for my
Well, I mean, I like the 60, even the 60, the Fury, the two-door with the push button automatics and all that. I kind of like them because they're funky looking, but
which
they are
ones?
fun.
Which year?
I'm thinking 63, 64, maybe even earlier.
Because
Trying
I
to picture.
consider like 1960, that's still part of the 50s. So were all the cars. They still had the
Yeah,
50s bodies. But just
nitpick
like
over that.
1970, they all had the 60s bodies.
Mostly.
Well, I think the only 70 car that was all new was the Camaro and Firebird and the Challenger.
And the Challenger and Barracuda.
Yeah, those were new. Ponies.
Mhm.
Ford's new ponies, they switched in 71 when they what's his name, Bunky. He was only at Ford a short period of time, but he did a lot of damage.
Yeah, well, his first name was Seaman,
Yeah,
Semon.
figures.
So that's why he went by Bunky.
Well, Lee Iacocca thought that he was going to get the VP spot, and then all of a sudden he just brought in Bunky from Pontiac and then he was already pissed, and he like threatened to quit when he saw what Bunky did to the 70 Thunderbirds with the stupid
Uh,
bird beak. Dan, that was
right.
ugly. Yeah, we're talking about cars, Steve, because you're not contributing, you're eating. So there. And there's nobody in chat, so if there's somebody in chat, if people were here yet, we talking about other stuffs.
100 men and a girl.
Of course,
Oh,
I think
boy.
anybody that knows me and knows Transforama knows that I'm all about cars.
Yeah.
And somebody actually responded to one of my videos a couple of weeks ago saying, trying to think, it was about a month ago. They said, "Can you make another vehicle TF that's not a car?" And I'm like, "Well, you're not going to like the one I'm working on now, then." Because that was the Buick one, 58 Buick.
Ah.
I said, "That's
Yeah, I
what."
like that one. That was pretty cool.
Thanks. I love the way it turned out because that's kind of a complex car anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why it's not even a favorite car of mine. But when I looked through my automobile magazines, the collectible automobiles, every time they had a one picture of that 58 Limited, and that's kind of that side view sort of at the rear, and like, damn, that would make a good Transforama car. Every time I looked at it, I thought that. So I finally made it. No, I told him cars are my main thing. That's kind of the drives this whole channel. And then he kind of took it back, walked it back. He's like, "Well, I know. I'll be happy." He said he'd happy with any of it. So I'm like, I just did a lemon before. It's like
Oh, yeah.
people they'll complain about something without even thinking. Is that all you do with cars? Well, I just did a lemon last time, and I did a battleship before that. I did a chocolate bar before that.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Well, maybe you do a mailbox.
Could do a mailbox. I kind of cool. I like mailboxes, like the black ones, like the ones that look like the Model T front ends.
Oh, yeah.
Or I guess it's the Model Ts that they wanted to make them look like mailboxes.
Well, they just wanted to be simple and quick to produce. I mean, they
Pretty
at
much
the
is.
end of
What
the
it's just a flat piece and then they curve it, right? Just bend it.
well, what's really funny is you think every Model T looks alike, but if you look year by year, because they started out in 1908 and they went all the way through 1927, they changed quite a bit over the years. It just basically got simpler and simpler and simpler, and just all just geared toward producing as fast as they could. Because by the end of Model T production, they cost $275. Now, of course, that was a lot more worth a lot more back then than it is now, but still.
Yeah, I don't think those cars. I don't think any car that's pre. I don't know what the value guides are because I didn't really go out looking for those kind of those old cars. But I can't imagine their resale values as much as a '50s through early '70s car.
Well, not anymore. They were popular a while back, but the thing was there were just so many of them, and especially on the used market, that all these businesses popped up to sell parts and performance parts and all that other shit. And the whole
Well, they
hot
made them
rod
all into
industry.
hot rods.
Yeah.
But you know that.
Well, even or you remember Santa Claus coming to town. Fred Astaire's. That was a kit that you could buy.
Make it into a Unimog or whatever.
Yeah, make a half track with the skis in the front.
Yeah, that honestly, yeah, I understand that they evolved, but what I would say is it wasn't until they planned the 55 model year cars where they figured out that what people actually want things that are styled, instead of just before it was like a class thing, you could buy a Ford or you can get something that's better or get something that's rich. It's got the V12, but it's like they all still kind of look the same. It's like it wasn't until 55. It's like what people want these things to look different from each other, So to me, it's 55 is when it first when the styling renaissance started, and it ended up. I don't know, 72, 73. Kind of, I think that's when it wound down.
Well, yeah, I mean that was because they didn't even have stylists. I mean, that was GM started that back in the 30s. They got Harley Earl, who was a car customizer from California.
Yeah, the art. What was it called? Art and design.
Art and color.
Art and color.
And they spelled it, British style, OUR
So
for some reason.
Fancy pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, they. Yeah, I think it started around there. I think it was part of the space age and the moon race and kind of the optim. Yeah. Everyone was an optimist post-war, so it was like I think it was the 20s, Futurama cars.
Yeah, but in the 20s and 30s, I mean, the styling was confined to the radiator, to the grill.
Yeah.
So if you see a 30s car and you don't see the front of it, you can't tell what the hell it is.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta come on, turn around so I can see the front. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's a bugle.
Yeah, I guess GM and I guess Kaiser and Studebaker were forward thinking back then in the early 50s.
Yeah, because they got started earlier because they were hoping to make a niche for themselves after World War II.
Yeah, they had to. They had to stand out. And
because Stude, I think they were the first to have like an all new car in '47.
That people still like that low profile one that they made.
Yeah,
I guess they were trying to get like a European kind of.
Yeah,
but that, and then I think GM was style leaders too because they put the first tail fins in the Cadillac because I guess Harley Earl was influenced by
inspired by the P-38 Lightning.
Right,
that's why it had little.
I would say also with the wraparound windshields was airplane influenced, definitely. And I think Oldsmobile was the first to do that in like 53.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because some of those curved windshields it came around so much that you would actually bang your knee into the damn thing getting into the
dog leg.
Yeah.
And Ferrari had some back then called the Super America.
Yeah.
which I like that name. That's pretty cool. But they were good looking cars in the late 50s. And there was at least a model that had that wrap around with the dog leg. Steve, I hope you come back because I'm going to just skip through all this trying to find a precious moment.
All right.
We're really just trying to spin our wheels until you get back.
Now here we got seat belts. Now this is 1958, and they weren't standard, but because 1955 Ford introduced an option package they called it lifeguard design, and they had seat belts, they had padded dashboards, they had the dish steering wheel, so where the it goes inward so you don't get the steering column right through your chest. But the option, it didn't sell. Nobody wanted it because people just didn't want to think about getting into accidents.
Dang.
They just figured if they didn't think about it, it wouldn't happen. And now, people buying cars, all I care about is safety. Oh, is the car super ugly? Yes. Okay. And is it safe? That's all I care about.
I just got the lap belts in my Mustang.
Yeah, I bet you if you look under the headliner, you'll find a threaded insert thing for the shoulder belt. Because even my MG had shoulder belts, which for open convertibles, kind of weird. And that was a 69. And our Morris Minor had seat belts, and that was a 61.
Well,
because I remember all through the 60s wearing the lap belts.
See, there was an exception because it was when they were making the laws in '68 for the seat belts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ralph Nader's brother Darth, he was at the board hearing thing, and he said that it should be exempt for ponies, and he was just joking. And they figured he meant Mustangs, but he wasn't even thinking it. He was making a joke. But just like an hour before, he had done that neck thing with a guy picking him up, with the force. So they didn't want to even argue with him. So the 70 Mustang was like exempt at that time from the shoulder belt.
Yeah,
there we got like a half precious moment. I had to do something.
Ralph Nader is still alive. God bless him. I think he's like 95 or something.
There was everybody gave him credit for, negative credit for killing the Corvair, but for what it turned out is Chevy was axing that anyway because because the they were actually working on a next generation Corvair, and it literally looked like a dog turd. Literally, it looked like a dog turd, and they ended up axing it because the Mustang happened, And it's like the pony car thing. Just like, why do we need a Corvair when we need to? And they went with the Camaro and Firebird instead.
Because they thought GM kind of went out on a limb on a few things with design. With going with the rear engine and all that. Oh well, because the Volkswagen had just kind of started taking off when the Corvair came out, but the rear engine thing, I just think the novelty wore off, and then people just kind of said, "Why do we have what's this?" So they went to the Camaro because the Camaro kind of replaced the Corvair in a way, and it was a conventional, front engine rear drive.
Right. That collectible automobile, they had in an early issue, they had an interesting story that they made up, and it was a family in like 59 or 60 that went out to buy a compact car for the wife, or just kind of a second car, because they had a DeSoto. So it was Halloween, and they went to all the car dealers, and they talked about what they were doing. The car dealers were doing. Like one of them, that the salesman was dressed like Frankenstein, and he's like, "Wow, that looks uncomfortable." He's like, "You don't even know." Everybody had their own gimmicks going on. It was neat. It was a neat story, and it was like, so he went to see Chrysler first, and he was looking at the Valiant, and he's like, "So this is a new car." So he was a pretty good. He did his research, and he knew how to talk. The dad, and. He ended up passing on it. Not passing, but they went to the next one because a lot of the stuff that he was wondering, because it was such a new car. Well, we're going to do that soon. We're going to do this. It was kind of. Then he went to looked at the Corvair. Then he went to a Ford, looked at the Falcon. It seems like they just weren't satisfied at all. And then they were like, "Why don't we look at the Ramblers? The AMC, the station wagons and stuff." And they actually seemed excited. And we didn't get that far. We didn't get. It was like that. That was kind of like where it ended. I'm like, well, I kind of wanted to know about the Rambler now. It seemed kind of neat. Because maybe I would have wanted the Rambler. Because honestly, they didn't know how to make a good looking car compact back then. No. Corvair was close to being pretty good. I think the lack of a grill.
I think the second generation Corvair was pretty slick looking.
Well, you know what? The early '60s Monzas looked good. The two door with the kind of the round roof on them. My dad had a '64, a brown one, and that's the first car I ever steered on his lap. And I kept putting it in the ditch.
Mine was my brother's '62 Valiant, and I did the same damn thing, just sitting in the middle and steering. I just couldn't keep it.
Yeah, and to be fair, I was like 3, literally.
Well, I was like 9 or something like that.
And well, by the time I was 9, my dad had me behind the wheel of his Plymouth Arrow pickup. It was a compact pickup. Mitsubishi is what it was, but it was a Plymouth Arrow. And Darren was running alongside us. He was afraid to be in the truck, I guess. And but that was the first truck when I was 9, I guess, that I was actually behind the wheel, and it was a stick shift clutch. And I wasn't in his lap.
Yeah.
So I sometimes I think my dad hated me or thought I was a total dumbass, but he trusted me to do things, to drive his cars and stuff. So that makes me kind of feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my grandpa. He had this big '73 Chevy pickup, and we were driving. He was driving home, and he all of a sudden, I was only like 14 or 15, and he's like, "Okay, let's switch," and it's a clutch, and all this stuff. I'm like, "Oh," and we're like, this isn't like on the dirt road. We're not like in the middle of town where there's traffic lights, but we are on the, the paved roads. So I was doing pretty good. And this is Colorado. It's all hills. And not bad. And it wasn't until we went to his driveway, which was just very steep, like S-shape, a big driveway. And I kind of got stuck halfway, and then you're uphill. I don't think I would be able to put it in gear now. Starting uphill, so I think I did pretty good. He took over then, but
I'm trying to think, because it was our '69 Datsun wagon that my mom first had me drive. It might have been around '72, I think, like that. But I was 11
what year was it?
That's what I'm trying to remember. The car was a '69.
Okay. You can tell by the amount of rust on the side.
Oh, that was the thing. I mean, the Japanese cars, they have such a reputation for quality, and they earn it now, but back then, God, that thing aged quick.
Oh yeah, I've got a childhood picture of my, my Blue Ridge house, the one that is in the film, and there's a next door they had a little kind of a vanilla yellow Toyota or Datsun or something, and I remember the car. I remember going to school, preschool in it once, and I was looking at it, the picture of it, and it was just like the fender's getting rusted out already.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that car had to have been damn near brand new by then. I didn't think they started importing those things until the late '60s.
Well, the 510 was the one that we had, was the first Datsun. It may have been one of the first Japanese cars that was specifically designed for the United States market. So it actually was good looking. It didn't look like a strange Japanese car.
I think there's from that era. There's two. Well, there were more. I think it's like they weren't imported. The good looking Japanese cars in the late '60s, early '70s. The Toyota Stout pickup, the Stout. They also had Hilux.
Yeah.
They were good looking pickups. They almost looked like a kind of a miniature mid '60s International. Good looking trucks.
I think I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, good looking style, really good looking, and of course the Toyota 2000 GT, great looking sports car. Probably it was probably
it was funny.
What?
You've seen You Only Live Twice. James Bond movie.
Yeah, they had to cut the roof off or something, right?
Yeah, they made two of them as convertibles because Connery was just too tall to fit in the coupe. He just it couldn't go.
They didn't have to take the Targa roof off for Tom Selleck. In the Ferrari.
Right. In Magnum PI, you never see that car with the roof panel on because his head stuck out.
and I'll get back to Tom Selleck, bookmark that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other good ones were their big cars like the Toyota President and I think all the manufacturers had big cars that were good looking.
Oh yeah,
but they didn't import them here, because we already had our own big cars, and also
yeah, I think they couldn't. They thought they didn't figure they could compete.
And there was one in the late '60s and early '70s that Mazda made called the Cosmo, and it looked like a 57 T-Bird. That was a neat looking car. So yeah, they did have some. We just didn't see them. They gave the ugly things to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tom Selleck. I think they originally wanted him for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And somebody had mentioned it would have never worked. I mean, one of the reasons he's too big of a guy. I mean, you kind of had to have a meek school teacher who could kind of blend in and moonlight, as doing his archaeology. And I kind of agree. I can't picture Tom Selleck must have been 6'5". I can't picture him being India. He's got to be kind of a
That's true. He had too big a personality to be to be believable as a school teacher. Because Harrison Ford could be the adventurer and he could be the nerdy professor guy.
Exactly. And they did. That was a nice touch that the girls had a crush on him too, because he was still Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Even though he was a nerdy, that was kind of a nice touch. The girl with the Drew on her eyelids.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. That was funny. Good, nice touch. Steve would never know. Steve, where are you?
No, we still eat because I think Vicky's specialty is like an entire roast antelope. It takes a while for Steve to get from one end of it to the other.
You know what Steve's going to say? Well, I didn't come back because you were talking about cars. You know what? It's like, that would be like me taking a pee break, and, well, I didn't come back because you guys are talking about Star Trek. It's like, I'm surprised he hadn't started talking about Batman. I thought that this would do that. I'm not a big Batman fan.
I grew up on that, man. Of course, in '66, I was 5 years old, so Batman was high adventure to me. I didn't get it. There was no jokes in it when I was 5.
It's one of those things. I remember it being on when I was a little bitty kid, but I mostly remember the theme song, and I remember Batman and the Batmobile. I just don't remember any of the plots or anything. Star Trek. I remember the theme, and I remember certain things from Star Trek. I remember them saying, "It's a hole in space." They were looking out their window or out the view screen monitor and saying that there's a hole in space. I remember little things about it. I remember the Scotty pipe, and I thought that, and I said this before, I thought that the Scotty pipe was the actual engine tube, and that was kind of in proportion. It would have made the ship a lot smaller.
Right.
But you're 3 years old.
Yeah.
Or you're 3 years. I'm 3 years. Never mind. Steve, what are you doing?
I don't know.
What are you doing? Where is everybody? Sobert got bored and left, but it's like, if you're bored, then say something. Become part of the conversation.
Jesus, all right, dude. I gotta get that video though.
Oh, there's Now that's got to be photoshopped because there's no rust on this. Because that looks exactly like that thing that was next door to us. Same
No,
color and everything.
yeah, because ours was not that. That's got some green to it. Ours was basically they called it cream color. It was
I don't see
like
any
a super
green on
light
my
one.
end.
Kind of looks a little
It just
greeny
looks
on
like it
my
looks like a
screen.
faded butter color. I don't see any
But
green in it.
yep, it's got a yep plate on it, and I think that was like really very well preserved or restored. It was up for sale about 10 years ago, but that was it. 510 wagon, and it had headrests and shoulder belts and every other
Well, you
damn
know
thing.
what? That's 60s, and even that didn't look too bad. It
No,
wasn't
that's
until
like
it
what I
wasn't.
said. That was the first car that they styled for the United States.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. By the 70s, they all look kind of like toes,
Yeah,
like a big toe. Especially, you know what car? There is a car that looks just like a big toe. It's even got the toenail. It's that Honda that they made in like 1971. It was a short lived. You know what I'm talking about?
well, there was a 600, and then the 600, the like sport coupe.
It must have been the sport coupe. It had to have been tiny, but it looked like a toe, literally. It was very rounded looking.
But it wasn't. You're not thinking of the Subaru 360, are
No,
you?
no, it's not that. That was more like a VW Bug. No, this was I I can't look. I can't surf. It's a good thing I can't. My it slows down everything. I can't look up anything,
Mhm.
uh, which is probably good because it keeps my eyes on the show. But you'll find it when you see it. You'll say, "Yeah, that's the toe." They should have just called it a Honda toe. But yeah, especially the back view, you can just it's got the toenail rear window. It's so funny looking.
Yeah, so it's a little hatchback, but it's like there's not really a hatch. It's just the window that opens up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds
they
like
call it
it.
the Z600,
Okay.
600 cc air cooled motor.
But even that, like I said, that one behind you, it's kind of no frills, but it's at least it at least looks like a Valiant in a funny mirror. You know, it's just kind of there's nothing offensive about it.
Yeah, it doesn't have weird lines on it.
Yeah,
It's actually, if you ever seen like a Ford Cortina from that era, it looks really
yeah,
similar.
it kind of does. Yeah, uh, I could say that Japanese cars looked like shit in the '80s, but so did American cars. Everything did. Even European cars look like shit, except well, yeah, if you get a Ferrari F40 that you want to spend $1 million, you can get a good looking car. But anyway, Steve, are you come? We won't talk about cars, I promise. When you come back, we're just trying to hold the door for you. Do you recognize the background?
Isn't that the venue at the in Order for Myself?
It's it's Rob's dream cave. Remember
Oh,
when he wanted to make his underground lair with the best engineers from all over the world and make his own spy gadgets?
oh yeah, okay.
What were you? Oh, what were you thinking? The what
The
venue?
venue, the
Oh, the one at the end.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I used some of those rock textures for it. I have milked that rock texture to death. I made it. I don't even. I think I made it in Saturday. I did. I made it in Saturday. No, was it Saturday or? Yeah, it was part of the Bugaloos landscape, I think, and I just used it for everything. But I also think I made some stuff. I might it might have originated in last page of summer with that rock path that cuts through the hill that goes right behind our
Oh,
house
okay.
to
Right, right.
to the car park. And I remember when Tracy got her kite hooked on the airplane when
Hmm.
she's flying her kite, and as she flew, I remember making a bunch of vines, and so it might have been there too. I don't know, but yeah, it's. I just remember I've used them for everything. It's probably what you saw.
Ah, okay.
I had to flip it around the thing to make myself fit on it. Never mind.
What?
What I was going to ask is, did you check Messenger, see if Godshot said anything? We can't just keep doing it like this. Gosh, damn. It sucks with two of us.
Yeah, they haven't even looked at, nobody's even looked at Messenger.
I don't expect Putt to be here. I don't expect ever to see him again.
Well, God, I hope he gets through all this.
I don't know anymore. He's never been this bad. Dude, even if we can get Laura or Wendy, that'll be something.
Yeah.
I want to take a little break. Oh wait, we got Fresh Phil.
Yeah, he said he was going to be on the road today. I guess going to the road again. He couldn't wait to get on the road again.
As I see Timmy is the Batmobile today, does that mean Steve is currently on a bat room break?
Probably.
I don't know. He must be pooping out his own weight then, because he's been gone, what, 45 minutes now?
Something like that. Is Vicky brought him dinner, and I'm picturing. You remember the Hassenpfeffer guy?
Where's my lunch? Where's my dinner? I saw a thing yesterday about a guy in the early 20th century that was a magician, and he Houdini gave him a dog as a gift, and he fell in love with the dog so much that he gave it 5-course meals and had a cart for it and everything else. Not something you should do for a dog.
Not really.
Well, no, you can't feed a dog that stuff.
Right.
And they got to have exercise. But anyway, the dog he did live to be 15, and then he floofied, and that magician was so distraught that he said that he was going to that he couldn't go on, that he would just floofy he couldn't go on without him. So he had shortly after that he was going to finish his tour, and so he was doing his big act in front of 3,000 people in a opera house, and so he had a live lion that was part of his show, and a horse, and a whole ensemble. Well, what happened is a lantern caught something on fire, because he had a lot of lanterns as part of the thing. So it caused a fire, and the people in the audience thought it was part of the act, like they would,
Yeah.
and because I guess this was the biggest magician in the world, I guess, at the time. So they had something called a fire curtain. And when they saw that fire shouldn't be there, they dropped the fire curtain. But it didn't go down all the way. It went down most of the way, but it kind of created a suction of the air.
Ooh.
So what happened is the band played, I can't remember what they played, national anthem or something. And they instructed everybody to calmly get out. And believe it or not, all 3,000 people got out okay. But the problem is backstage is when the fire happened. And so he went back to get his horse. He couldn't lose another pet.
Yeah.
But it killed 11 people backstage, and it killed his horse and his lion and him. And what they thought was his body, they cremated, and the next day they found him, that it was his body double that they'd found before. And also a couple kids that would play a animatronic teddy bear, they floofied. Really sad, but it was so good that the audience didn't, because that's what you would expect in those kind of
Yeah.
back then. But I guess in England or whatever, so they had cremated him and they put his urn between his dog's paws and buried him. Isn't that sweet?
Ah,
And
yeah.
they said there were 250,000 people to see the procession. I that's what I thought that was insane. 250,000 people. I didn't think 250,000 people even today would have grouped for something. That's
I don't know.
that would have been a quarter of the population of Jacksonville in the 1990s. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And they said that all of the people that floofied that were part of his ensemble, all of their funerals had like 10,000 people. That it was something else. He must have been something else, and I don't even remember his name. Oh, hey, Lewis.
But I was reading about, I think it was Charles Nelson Riley who was in a theater, and there was a fire at that theater, and he barely got out of it, and that's why he never liked being in like big audiences or whatever the
No, it
hell.
was that circus tent in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It was a circus tent that caught fire. Horrible, horrible thing. It was just terrible. I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, he was in that
Yeah.
circus tent fire. Just terrible, terrible stuff. Uh, yeah, it haunted him the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So I
okay.
remember I remember seeing him v- very close to the end of his life. He was on like the Late Late Show. I think it was Craig Kilborn was on it, or it might have been the Scottish guy. I forget the Scottish guy's name, but
Did he talk like hoodoo in real life?
no, well, I think he did the laugh a little bit just to for old timey's sake. He wasn't like Gene Stapleton. You gotta
Right.
pay me, make that voice. Shut
What a bitch. What a bitch.
up.
No wonder Carol O'Connor wanted to take credit for killing Edith.
Yeah.
Like I would have wanted to kill her too. Uh, so he was out on the road, but his trip was cut short.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, how you doing, Lewis?
That's me. Pop over there.
With the beard?
Yep.
Oh, unstylish back then, but cool.
Yeah, he was a little different. The beers weren't really big in those days, but he was into them.
Cool.
I'm thinking of getting rid of mine. It's just
If it bugs you, get rid of it.
Hmm?
I said if it
Say what?
bugs you, get rid of it.
Yeah, it just God, it looked like Methuselah. But
All right. Yeah, the long hair and the beard looks good. Of course, you can't tell you have long hair because you got it all back.
and that's it. Yeah, some of it's going to have to come off. It's just insane. It's like
Well, you
fucking
can't let it
95
grow
degrees.
forever. Let it trim
Yeah,
it. Yeah, I do. I mean, I've said it before. I do like your hair long. It looks good. But even I get a haircut every 6 months.
yeah. Because I got to look at like 60s haircuts that are not like the sort of grown up style where it's not on the collar or anything, but it's not all buzzed either.
But at least you live in California. You don't have to worry about the humidity kinking your hair up like it do here. My hair it looks terrible. If I don't like put pomade in it or put something in it, a bunch of hairspray, it looks horrible, like Medusa.
Can you translate what Phil's saying there? Because I
Lewis called me
my
dad.
Canadian.
Lewis called me dad, and he was wondering who Lewis
Oh,
was talking to,
okay.
which one of us he's
Sorry,
talking to.
because I didn't have my Canadian the American phrase book out. So
Lewis has called me dad for like 5 years now.
yeah, wish it'd be a neat trick. Because
Hmm? Set.
huh?
I thought you said something.
Oh, it's like I trailed off. I do that sometimes.
Oh,
I remember I was in the control room the other day, and Lauren was saying, "Are you talking to somebody on the phone?" I said, "No, I'm just talking to my computer."
Steve, get back up here. What are you doing? Might have to get fresh fill in here to take your place.
Yeah.
Been wanting to get a refill for like 20 minutes now.
Well, I could like get a book out and read from it, just read to the audience.
All right, well, I'll be quick.
All right.
Uh,
Oh, the humanity. That's a manatee there. So, hi, folks. I can do a slideshow. How about that? Oh, that's that. Well, don't set your computer on fire. You wouldn't want to do that. This is the Office of Image Archaeology, in case there's like images buried underground. And there is the Douglas B-19. That was the largest land plane that ever built up to that point. And the elevation was 1528. You needed to know that so you could set your altimeter. And that was one of the problems that the airplane had right there, because of one big giant tire, because they didn't know how to put like multiple tires on the plane back then. It was one big, huge one. And they would put so much force on the runway that they would actually bust through the runway. Because this is a big damn airplane. You can see the little guys. Those aren't midgets. Those are full-size people walking around. And they ended up, not using it as a bomber, but just as a research aircraft, because it was just studying what happens when you make a plane that big. Because you can't just sort of take a little plane and then just blow it up and make it big, because everything gets different. The stresses and the aerodynamics, they all change when you get bigger and bigger. Really wish they'd have preserved that thing, but of course they're too smart to do that. You wonder if sometimes if scrap aluminum is worth more than gold, and then you got to keep your propeller clean. I don't know why he's got a gas mask on though. Maybe it's a stinky propeller. Maybe they flew through some like stink bugs, and then he's washing the stink bug juice off of the props.
oh, that was the World War II thing where they would come in and make things stink. You know?
That's true. They had stink bombs.
Steve, I love you being here as part of the show. And I'm not trying to we're not yelling, but if you're going to only be here for 5 minutes, can you at least like sign off so you don't take up a square?
And that was the old pre-World War II Army Air Force marking with the stripes on the tail.
I think I like those stripes. Looks good. Although the front of the tail should have been blue with the stars on it.
And that was the old marking. It was a star with a red ball in the middle. And of course, after going to war with Japan, it was like, we better not have a red ball in the middle of ours too, because then they'll think, because they got a red ball, we can't have, I guess they had the red ball first. So they just said, yeah, let's just take the red ball off.
Yeah, I'm Lewis's honorary father. Lewis is in Africa. Lives in Liberia with Tedesco. Lewis says, I'm happy being here tonight. It's been a very long time since I come to the show. Well, I'm glad to have you here, Lewis.
Yeah.
It is the rainy season there. They're getting nothing but rain, and it must be kind of like it is here.
Yeah.
And the mosquitoes have just been horrible.
Yeah, I want to get Gottschalk in here because I want to ask him why they put targets on old airplanes. Because I really wanted him to explain.
You have to explain that to our viewers.
I think he thought that I wanted to know the answer to that question. My dad designed those planes that had targets on them. My uncle flew them, and my mom looked up and saw them dropping bombs on her.
Tell them the originals. What is the original story there? It was someone on Facebook was posted it. Why did the people put targets on their planes? It was a British flag on the plane. It was
The circular, the round
yeah.
L.
Yeah.
Phil, no, not so far. Yeah, it was the Max Factor authentication, and because it's an old phone number, and because no one in the history since Alexander Graham Bell has ever changed their phone number, they have no mechanism for recovering the thing without the so you got to call that old phone number, and whoever has the number now, you got to have to could you please.
Boy, it was my phone company changed my phone. They lost my phone number. My phone company
Oh,
lost
sweet.
my phone number and had to change it.
It's behind the couch.
Yeah, fell behind the couch. Yeah, I went to Fiverr to see if somebody could farm out a service where they go to YouTube support, and I couldn't find anything. It was all
Oh.
bots. It was all,
Yeah.
hey, we can get a bot for your YouTube channel and make it. So many. That's all it was. It was like bots. It's like, good grief. Does anybody have any legitimate? I don't know.
Is anything legitimate at all anymore? Period.
I really think it's. I think we're just gonna have a new BabbleGab. I mean, a Brilliant Garbage channel, I guess.
Yeah, just make Yumi and Neb admins on it.
Yeah. It just. I mean, there's two things. I'm hoping they don't. Because people have the same videos a lot. And if you look Carry On Wayward Son or something, you're going to see 15 videos of the same format. So I'm hoping they don't nab us for that. But the other thing is, it kind of sucks because we had a lot of subscribers.
Yeah,
I was kind of wanting to give them heart attacks by having a new content. But I think a lot of them came from the Transforama channel, so all I have to do is do a new video blog, tell them to go to a different, tell the story. Well, things happen for a reason. We'll figure it out. And what sucks is, since I'm not an admin, I can't do anything on the channel. It's going to be hard to redirect everybody. The only thing I can think is
because it wasn't. I guess it was because it was a total standalone, right? It was just not associated with your personal account or anything like that.
Yeah, in fact, it used ZenBob's email, and I don't think any of my Apology None Gmail emails exist anymore because they would all still have to have that phone number. It's not just the YouTube; it was my whole YouTube. I mean, my whole Gmail or Google account that I can't use.
Oh, see, that's the first time you mentioned that.
Yeah, it was because it used the ZenBob's login. There must be a way to get back into that channel somehow. Google land, there has to be at least one human working. There is. The problem is the humans only deal with you if you're a YouTube partner. Now I don't know about actual, as we said, Google account rather than YouTube. I don't know.
I forget when the merger was. Because Google bought YouTube about 10 or 15 years ago.
2006.
Yeah.
Because I remember telling my friends at work that they bought it, and I remember a friend was really disappointed. Like, what? Google bought it? It's going to go to shit now. And he's right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, there was that Persian gal who shot up the YouTube office, I think near somewhere in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and the customer service supposedly got a little bit better after.
I think I actually had to do it. I had to. There's a part of my memory that thinks that I was doing a job and I had to go to the GMAC building where it was a huge story in the 90s where that was shot up. It was like the first office mass shooting. Big news. But it was after that shooting. I don't even know if it was called that anymore. I just remember, I think, going to that building. Use 4 magic words. I know Steve Jarrett. That's been known to open doors. Yeah, if there is such a thing as Steve Jarrett anymore, I'm just trying to wonder. He's been literally here an hour without saying a thing.
Yeah. We still have that Hasenpfeffer. Yeah.
Hell, get in here, Bill. He's not going to pull his weight. There's no Gottschalk. Putt's in the hospital again.
Yeah.
Worry
And
about
I think Neb fell down the well again. He was good for a while. And
well,
then,
maybe, yeah, if Neb's going to do that, then maybe it's best it didn't work out. But I would have liked to have still, even without Neb, I still would have liked to have. Of course, it's hard to do Brilliant Garbage without Neb.
Yeah. Or Mrs. Cubison.
Huh?
Huh? No, that was a commercial back in the 80s. It was like, it's just not Thanksgiving without Mrs. Cubison. It's like, who? I guess they make, like stuffing kits or whatever the hell. It's just one of those sort of commercial product, makes the holiday. Like you can't have, Christmas without Santa on the Norelco shaver, buzzing around.
Oh.
Or because even the red suited Santa Claus that originated from a Coca-Cola ad.
I just remember a commercial with, it's called Celeste or something. It looked like an Italian B. Arthur going out her door saying "Appanganza."
Ah, yeah, Mama Celeste. That was like pasta and the sauces and stuff.
Okay.
Mamma mia. And Rosemary Clooney, her big song was "Come on, I'm on to my house, so we're gonna give you." She hated that song. So it was the dumbest thing in the world. It was like her biggest hit.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. That Lulu didn't want to sing that one about the "My love is bigger than the warmest ocean." It is a dumb song, and you could tell listening to her that her voice wasn't in range for that song. It just wasn't good for her. I'm surprised it became a hit. But people are stupid, they like dumb stuff. That's why.
Well, and she did the Man with a Golden Gun. It's like it wasn't a bad song. It just near the end, it was like he's gonna shoot someone with his gun. It's like, okay, we kind of
the lyrics were horrible. The lyrics were horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, it had a nice John Barry score. That it sounded very 007. It had a nice sound to it, but that had to have been the first James Bond song that actually, who shoots with a golden gun and shoots people with his gun. It's like, come on. Carly Simon, nobody does it better than her. I mean, she did. I mean, she said "Spy Who Loved Me" just
so cool
once.
about that song is it had nothing to do with James Bond.
Well, they had to change one lyric at least, "The Spy Who Loved Me," to put it in there.
Yeah,
least,
yeah.
But, yeah, you don't need to. All-time high. Rita Coolidge. That was a beautiful James Bond song. I love that song.
And On Her Majesty's Secret Service, man, that was the best lyrics of them all.
Yeah. That was an odd, not only was it an instrumental, but it was like the first or the only Bond movie that just showed scenes from other Bond movies instead of showing naked women swimming through puddles.
Yeah, because they wanted to tie it in. They wanted people to know that, yes, it's the same.
Yeah, I thought that there's people that bitch about him saying this never happened to the other fellow. That won me over.
Yeah, he kind of had to do it. It was
because I was
the elephant in the room, that nobody talks about. It's like he had to kind of do something just to break the ice.
Well, I remember my music studio that was in the old barn garage in Alabama, and I had this old TV, the one I grew up with, and I think Spike, this cable network, was playing these old Bond movies, and or maybe my mom recorded them. That's what it was. My mom recorded them and sent the DVDs to me. She had Spike. That's what it was. So I would it's like, well, time for this one. This is probably stupid. This is the one with that one-off guy. And I put it in, and I'm like, huh. I saw the fight, on the beach, and I'm like, look at that oil tanker on the. Look at this is pretty. Look at this. Look at the scenery. And then after that, he looks in the camera and breaks the fourth wall. This never happened to the other fellow, and I'm like, no shit. I'm okay. He hooked me like a fish. I was just like, I was in, and I loved it. It became it still is my favorite James Bond movie. I just loved the whole thing. But some people are, that was so stupid. It's like you said, he needed to do
otherwise
it.
it was like people would just be sitting there, who's this guy? What's going on? And it just kind of it broke the ice. It just kind of made it okay.
But it makes the tragic ending when you look at the beginning and the ending. It's just like, because a friend of mine, I told you this, a co-worker, we were sharing. We were buying them all on DVD and lending them to each other. And we were experiencing them for the first time, and then, the next day we would talk about them. And I remember saying, "This is the best one." It was Spy Who Loved Me, and he wasn't impressed. He's like, "I thought it was dumb." I'm like, "Really? What? I mean, okay. I mean, it's not Shakespeare. It's not the best thing. Okay, I thought it was one of the better ones." And I had to buy a box set to get on a Majesty's Secret Service. You couldn't just buy the DVD. And I had to order it or something, and I watched it, and as you know, the DVD is gorgeous, and not like physically the disc, but the film, and I told him, it's how you gotta watch this one. He's like, is it good? I'm like, oh, and I said the ending, like, what about it? I said it's terrible, but it's great. It's terrible, but it's great. And he watched it, and the next day he's like, you ruined it. I can't watch another James Bond movie ever again. He said it ruined it because it was perfect. He just said it was the perfect movie. With the helicopters at the end, all this. He was just totally,
And it was one of the only two James Bond movies where the main female lead is actually older. The actress is older. Diana Rigg was older by like a year or two than Lazenby. And in Goldfinger, Honor Blackman was like a year older than Connery.
Was he?
Yeah.
Boy, she was my favorite. I liked her.
She was pretty cool.
And
she showed that you could actually turn a lesbian around.
That's right. He raped her, but still. No, you got to give him a new Zoom link.
Let's see. Yeah, it's always different. I should have. Yeah, just look at your Facebook Messenger. I know the Facebook Messenger is like the redheaded stepchild of all communication things. It's just that we use it, and it's how we keep in touch and trying to get some people.
Tony and I do anyway. Everybody else, you'd think, like, yeah, like. But yeah, I liked Diana Rigg. She kind of had that Princess Leia, that low voice, mature, very mature woman voice.
Yeah, because she was not swept off her feet by Bond or all who is like
that, and it was such a neat a twist. And I'm not. This is kind of spoilers, but it's a 55-year-old movie. But it's like
remind me
the baddies that kidnapped him in the dune buggy and stuff, and then they took him to this kingpin guy, and then Bond threw a knife through his something.
The calendar.
Calendar.
It was a calendar.
Yeah. And you find out that the reason he had him there was he wanted him to marry his daughter and was going to pay him. And he ended up being and he's like in the car with them, and they're smooching each other and giving googly eyes, and he's just kind of smiling. He ends up being kind of a good guy. It was kind of neat.
Yeah, and that was actually pretty close to the book, because On Her Majesty's Secret Service was the first James Bond novel that I ever read. And I got to the ending, and it was like the first time I'm reading it, and I just flipped the next page. It's like, that's it?
Oh, so it ended the same way too, huh?
Yeah, it was very, very close to the book.
When that cop comes in with the motorcycle,
Hi, Timmy.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, there you are. Oh, he's Timmy. I'm Hutch. Oh, wait a second. That's
It's Count Macula.
great.
Okay, I turned that off.
Okay, thank you.
And there's also me, Artifacts.
Really?
Yeah.
Electro voice. Oh boy.
Electro voice. Yes, it is an electro voice. This thing has, I think they're neoprene or whatever. There's these bands that hold it in place.
Mm-hmm.
They all gave out eventually. I had to get a replacement set.
Ah, at least they sell them. Or did you have?
Yeah, they do sell the replacement sets for them. Had to be special ordered in, but I got 2 sets because I figured they're not going to last.
This pair of headphones I had, my headphone saga. Having to buy
Right, there was you had an issue with
they sounded like shit, and
right.
so I bought a preamp, a headphone amp. You know what I think the whole thing was? I had them going out my phone. You have to go into EQ and do a different custom setting for a set of headphones compared to earbuds. That's all it was. I had to go through the settings and do a special EQ set. And they sound fine now, but the problem I have with these headphones, and I still use the preamp, but I use it because it's got a thumb dial, a thumb wheel, and it's really easy to go up and down in the volume.
Well, that's helpful.
It is, and so I still use the preamp mostly for that, just because I like to use the little volume knob. It makes me feel like I'm rich. But the problem with these headphones that I have is the cable is this kind of a braided, instead of a rubber sleeve, it's a kind of a braided kind of a thing, and it's like sandpaper. If I'm on the swing or something, it rubs against my arm or my leg. I'm like, gosh, I'm gonna have to put something around this stupid thing. I never experienced that with a headphone.
They do cloth cable, because cloth cables to me like me, it makes me think 30s and 40s.
I know, like those old AC plugs that looked scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
There might be a trick you could do would be to put something like shrink tube over the cable.
Yeah.
Which would change the surface of it so it wouldn't feel like that.
I guess I'll need to buy a shrink tube.
Have you ever used shrink tube? It's kind of magical stuff.
You
wrap the tube over something and then you heat it up and it shrinks to fit.
Yeah.
You heat it up with a torch or a hot dryer?
Bic, really.
Could be with a Bic lighter, could be with a soldering iron, whatever. Anything that'll concentrate heat. But obviously you don't want to go too far with it.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Because it'll make a mess.
My main thing is it doesn't become too rigid. Still want it to bend around.
That's true. Yeah, you probably want something moving.
Yeah, shrink tube is pretty flexible.
Is it?
Because I use that in cars. So I don't like those crimp connectors that have the insulation around them, because you have to put the crimper through the insulation to make it. And half the time it doesn't really. So I use the non-insulated ones, and then use the shrink tubing. And you always remember you got to put the tubing over before you crimp the crimp on.
Right.
Afterward, it's like, oh shit.
I'm actually a pro at the plastic insulated butt connectors. And
I never really cared for them.
Well, I just, because I did police cars and fire trucks for 6 years, and that's all I used. Yeah. So I knew exactly where to crimp it so it gets the metal brad on the inside, and I kind of became a pro at that. So
yeah, I just had better luck with the non-insulated ones, and then using the heat shrink tubing over them.
Well, we just put we would do the insulated ones, crimp them, and then you take the black tape and do all that with them. Anyway, that's fine. Anyway, LG73 says, Tony, is it the same Zoom link as the one you sent?
Yeah, we've already covered that.
Yeah. Objection asked and answered.
All right, look at this. I don't know if you can see that, but
that's a cat.
Oh, it's a cat.
Yeah.
Well, the cat is on there, but it's the new look. There, that actually went too bright.
Oh,
but
now we got a
that's iOS 26 beta 1. And it's,
cool, boy.
So
it's due to come out 2 years from now.
Yeah, this is on my iPhone, and you now have the option. They've added a stretchable font, a variation on the Apple San Francisco font. So when you set the picture, you can then tweak the font so the time fits nicely with the photo. Nice. If that makes sense. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the new Apple versions. The one that's the most dramatic change is iPad. The iPad is so much more like a real computer under iPadOS 26. You've got a true windowing system for multitasking. It can run background tasks. I even test drove it on this past Saturday when we had Big Steve's Memory Lane show.
Ah.
And I didn't get kicked out of the Chatovod once on the iPad. But whereas before, with the previous iPad OS, meaning the currently shipping one, as soon as you background Safari or even go to another tab, it disconnects from Chatovod.
Yeah.
So this is a dramatic difference, like huge improvement for the iPad as far as productivity, usability, everything else. And that'll be out this fall.
My company gave me an iPad 10, 12 years ago. And it was supposed to be a surprise in the mail. And a coworker said, "Oh, by the way, they gave you an iPad." You
know what was creepy though? Well, did you like the iPad?
Yeah, I used it for a while. I finally wore it out. But I didn't use it as a phone or anything. I kind of just used it as an iPod to play music and stuff. But did you hear? I think they're rebooting. Of course, they're rebooting. Everything that we grew up with that was cool in the 70s, they've got to ruin it. Right? Aren't they redoing the $6 Million Man?
Yeah, now he's the $16 man.
Well, I thought it was a $6
No, actually, if you factor in inflation, he'd be the $6 billion man.
Yeah, it's ma'am. It's ma'am.
Oh, ma'am, the $6 billion man.
Oh, there you go.
Let me take a wild guess. The character's name must be Shaz.
Yeah. Be nice. But
Shaz, if you're watching this, I don't know what. There's like 14 Shazes that are in.
Now this was the Big Bob one, who's because our friend Big Bob is going through some stuff. Steve and Phil here are alternating guest hosting. And so he's on hiatus, but the show goes on. And unfortunately, she and her affiliate dropped the Golden Memory show, the Big Bob's Memory Lane.
Yeah, it's not quite like that, Tony. What from what I gather from the emails, including the one from Bob, was Shaz was willing to carry Memory Lane only when Big Bob was hosting it selectively. It did not want it when either Steve or myself were on. So Bob wasn't willing to go for that, so he basically dumped them.
Well, it's one less name she has to say now.
Yeah, I mean, it's no big deal, really. But it just
have to remember. I
mean, I don't know. I guess according to Shaz, Steve and I both suck, but you know, we do the best we can. We're not going to be Big Bob. Yeah. We're different people.
It almost sounds like that Stress. Remember that person, Stress?
Yeah.
Were you there during those days, Phil?
Are you referring
her screen name was Strength?
I know who you're talking about when Big Bob was on a thing called Pillar Tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what her name was, but she got really.
Her screen name was Strength, but I think Stress was more appropriate.
Yeah,
agreed. Anyway, she she got all pissed off when Bob had Steve start guest hosting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to go to that show every week, and I missed that one week where she totally went Frombos. You know,
the phrase that she used was her didn't build this network to have Steve ruin it. It's like, sweetheart, Big Bob built the network.
Yeah, she was what I would categorize as a crazy bitch.
Oh boy.
But
butthole.
Regardless, you know, she was no fan of me either, because
you weren't.
This was, I think,
Bob either.
No, well, I wasn't guest hosting though at that point. I was just a smart ass in the chat room.
Oh.
And I think at one point I appeared as Donald Trump, and that freaked her out because she's a leftard extremist.
Well, we try not to get political here because we don't know who's.
Well, too late now. I just did. Okay, well, we'll retract that. Rewind the tape and start over.
This was before even 2015, though. This was back like in the aughts, wasn't it? Or
well, I don't know. I think it was 2014, 2015. I think he had already declared his intention to run, but he hadn't actually won the nomination yet for the Republican Party. But it's just that, I mean, she was quite the extremist and was saying awful things about him. So I figured, what the hell? I went in there and pretended to be him.
See, we need to get Steve back because that's like Star Trek transporter curtains.
Hmm. From
'Cause Steve has
RCA
been
Victor.
absolutely dead silent for at least 30 minutes.
Oh no, he went dead silent 10 minutes in at 6:10. It's been an hour and 20 minutes now. Like I'm saying, if he's gonna do that, at least get rid of his square so our squares aren't so small.
Well, maybe give him a call on his toll-free number 1-800-JARRETT.
Yeah, there you go.
Here you go. That
Stefan
goes to
Giroux.
Dale Jarrett. I think Steve's a big NASCAR fan, is why he did the name.
You know, that's what I thought, but he gave us a different backstory.
Well,
There was Ed Jarrett, who was
is
the-
J his middle initial or not? Because he says SJM Productions,
Yeah, that's his middle initial. Yeah.
but it's not necessarily Jarrett.
No, it's
Like his middle name might be something else, like maybe Jackass.
No,
That
I think
might
it's,
be
it's
it.
Jew.
June.
Jew.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
G-E-W. J-E-W.
Oh.
J-E-W, not G.
Hmm.
That would be Goo.
Yeah, I think that's his middle name.
Goo.
It's like GIF. You know, the guy who invented the GIF wanted everybody to call it a GIF, but nobody did.
You know what's worse is back in school, there was the teacher said something about a GIF, and some asshole student said it's pronounced GIF, and that's exactly how he said it too. The guy was like a total dunce.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Yeah, thank you, Steve. No, he types in the chat rather than comes in here. SDM Productions. His middle name. He's named Stephen.
Did I say D? I thought it was
J.
SJM.
No.
Oh, so
No,
it says
every
DM.
cartoon character. Every cartoon character has the middle initial J.
Okay,
But
so it's
he's
SDM
named after
and
Stephen Douglas. Who
oh,
was,
Douglas.
yeah,
See, I thought the middle initial D would have been for Doofus.
No. Stephen Douglas was the guy who was running for president. No, he was running for Congress, I think, against Abe Lincoln. And they actually had a series of debates. They would actually travel together and go to different places and have debates. So he was a very prominent Southern politician gentleman.
We were talking about the race car drivers. It made me. There's always this story I think about my coworker Pooh Bear. Had told me that he was at an
he liked honey.
BSDM production or BDSM rather. That's funny, Tony.
Pooh Bear.
Yeah, so it's a delayed action joke, I guess that Phil was looking up. But anyway,
sorry about that. I just fired up I put the YouTube so I could see it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pooh Bear had told me about, I guess he was in Dollywood or somewhere, and he was in line to go on a roller coaster or a log ride or something, and in front of him, a couple people was Dale Earnhardt. And instead of whispering, to whoever he's with, that's Dale Earnhardt. How a normal person would do.
Yeah.
It's Dale Earnhardt, he said, and everybody starts swarming him. Like they found Jesus there. And he had to leave, and he couldn't go on the ride.
Oh man!
So he felt he had that guilt. He told me he just felt so stupid that he ruined that.
Especially since he probably was like the week before he flew.
Well, that's kind of what I told him. I said, if you look at the timing. He was thinking about that roller coaster incident when he made that right turn instead of the left turn on the track that day.
Do you think a NASCAR guy would know not to turn right?
You would think.
I got to grab a call.
Hello, you're on the air.
The sound guy for Treble Clef, I went to call him just to see how things are going. He was crying. Like literally, and what's the matter? And he said that Dale Earnhardt just died. He was watching the race on TV.
I watched it live, yeah.
But he was a parachuter. So was Gary, my drummer of the band, and that's how they met each other in Indiana. As they parachute
You
together.
slammed into each other in midair.
No, they would do those parachutes like you see on TV, where everybody's holding hands in a circle, and they do all that kind of stuff. And he said they came in with these flags. At the middle of a NASCAR event, and they said Dale Earnhardt was there and you know, gave him a standing O. So he had a special little connection with them there. So and when I found out, I'm like, Mom, where are those Hamilton collection plates that you gave me? I gave them back to Laverne. You didn't act like you wanted them. Or no, wait, I do my mom's like, I gave them back to Laverne. You act like you didn't want those plates. That's my mom voice.
Ah, okay.
How can you get yelled at too much, Steve? You were only here 5 minutes and we didn't yell at you. That circuit board, it's not even green. Oh, maybe they're using that auto.
No, that's it was that phenolic. I remember that they were that kind of phenolic color.
Why do they make them green? Is because it's easier to see the brass. And
probably, yeah. Because there, it's kind of hard to see if the copper's there or not.
Yeah.
And I think it would blend in with their clothes too much because they both had the. I think it was like a company policy. You can wear a suit or not, or you can wear a plaid shirt, but it's got to be green.
That's kind of what I thought I did a pretty good job with Kent and what do you call it? Kent and Steve Arini at the end of the movie with their very 50s looking get-ups that they were wearing.
Yeah. Hey,
Finesco. Philip is on the phone.
Yeah.
He's on the phone with his cat.
Yeah, there you go.
I have notes. I need to like go over these notes ahead of time. Oh, Steve said he fruited his looms. Well, it happens to everybody. Well, not really. Yeah. I've never heard of it happening.
Well, that's what I used to think. The logo, because it was like apparently it was fruit, but you know, the artwork on those '60s things. But when I was a little tiny kid, I thought it was like poo.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was actually fruit.
Yeah, I guess that's a good enough reason to leave the show.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll wait for Phil to come back. No, I got to do the dun 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 dun. Dun. So, I Want Her For Myself is now been selected in 12 film festivals so far.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, whether it gets screened in them, that's a whole different issue, you know? So we'll see. I don't know what it means anymore. That's why I don't really get excited. I mean, I won't get excited until I actually get a thing saying it's going to screen, and am I going to get my butt out there, you know? But at least it's something. It's better than saying no, you're not selected. But some don't give you an email. They just you just say judging status has changed. I'll get an email from Film Freeway and it'll just say not selected. And they don't even give you any kind of thing, anything. There's one that I didn't even remember submitting to, but they gave me a nice rejection letter. You know. But then I looked and I paid like $40. Like what? I don't remember paying $40 for any of these things. I think it was before they started doing the solicitations. You know, when I put my ad up there, and then everybody was giving me these 50% off. Or, I've even some of them have given me free, total waivers where I didn't pay anything. In fact, I think that North one, the one that's in Barcelona, I think that was a free one. But some of them, I remember last page of summer, the last round, there was one of them that their rejection letter was too much. It's like, I know you're disappointed in this. It's like this. Don't go that far, you know. I don't even remember who most of these people are. You know, I'm only upset. I'm only disappointed that I spent the money for nothing. That's all. It's not like it was just, I submitted to like 70 of them for the last film. 70 festivals. I don't know how many I've done. I haven't really kept track. I don't even want to look at how much I spent on it.
Yeah, it's best not to.
Hi again, Fidesco. How you doing? It is raining there, and raining and raining and raining. We've finally been getting rain here, but we've been having big thunderstorms every day for the last few days.
Right.
It loves to do that on the weekend, so I'm surprised it's doing it on a Tuesday. It's usually a Friday through Sunday thing.
Well, maybe the rain screwed up its calendar.
No, I think whoever's effing with our weather is doing that on purpose on the weekend. In fact, our governor what's his name? DeSantis. He's like on board with trying to get rid of that stuff now. All that weather manipulation. It's becoming a big fight now. And they're like, well, we got to do it to mitigate global warming and all this shit. Like, leave our gosh damn weather alone.
That climate change, global warming is a big crock of shit, right?
Of course it is, but that they're using it as an excuse to fuck around with our weather.
Yeah, no, it's all designed for to create a massive wealth transfer.
Yeah, well, it's
all about.
They call it geoengineering.
Yeah, I call it bullshit. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about when they manipulate the weather like that? Yeah, that's crap.
They actually had the CEO of one of those companies, and he looked like he was 12. He was in front of Congress. Well, we got to have this because farmers need rain for their crops, and it's like, that's what sprinklers are for, you fuck. Leave our fucking weather alone.
Wait a second, but they had rain before they even had any of that stuff.
I know, seriously. We've always had rains. You always have droughts. We haven't had a dust bowl since the 30s because people know how to do agriculture now. They didn't back then.
Right? Yeah, it was the way they plowed the fields that messed it up. 91 degrees. Oh, it cooled off.
It's only 91 there. You might have to put on a windbreaker, sweater, turtleneck. I used to make fun.
The turtleneck. The turtleneck. You've got to get like a corduroy jacket that goes with the turtleneck, and then you got to wear these big glasses.
I would consider not the big stupid glasses. They always looked ridiculous, but I wouldn't. Totally. If I ever get the turkey neck, which will probably happen because I'm not a big person, so I won't have the double. When you get old, you either get the double chin or the turkey neck. But if that ever happens, I'll probably get I wouldn't mind wearing a turtleneck and having the something. Look, I would get it totally like a J.C. Penney's catalog from the 70s.
Oh yeah,
I think that'd be awesome.
Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy, he rocked those things. There was a movie he made called Baffled, where he played a race driver, and it was all this paranormal stuff going on, and then he did the In Search of Crapola too, which is all that, Bigfoot. And ironically, the fellow didn't survive the tidal wave.
Bummer. By the way, when you mentioned corduroy jackets, that reminded me of some ghastly fashion thing we used to have. Remember leisure suits?
Oh yeah, but leisure suits, you think of them as a 70s phenomenon or 70s and 80s, but really they were called Hollywood suits in Hollywood, California back in the 40s. You know, with the shirt collar above the jacket lapel and the big pockets and the like the patch pockets and stuff. That was actually like a 40s thing that had come back around in the late 70s.
Well, fashion's always been kind of cyclical.
Oh yeah.
So there's going to be some unfortunate point in time in the future when we'll be wearing bell-bottom pants again.
Boy, in
Possibly.
the 70s, my mom and I would scour the department stores trying to find me trousers, pants that weren't that had straight legs. They were the hardest things in the world to find.
Oh, my
And
dad
I was
was.
like, I was like,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, well, I always say I don't like saying pants because in Britain, pants are what
Oh,
you wear
fuck
under
them.
your pants.
My,
Yeah,
my,
but,
my dad, and mom were both sadists. They made me wear big bell bottoms in like 1983.
but
Now, see,
were
my,
did
my
they have stripes?
no, they were jeans, but
Because the stripes were great. The wide stripes that would all converge on a point right in your crotch.
see, I wouldn't mind wearing them because I'd go barefoot anyway, pretty much. I wouldn't mind doing that, but in 1983, it wasn't cool. My dad didn't know any better. He was just totally fashion dumb, and my mom was the one that was guilty because she knew better and still made me wear them. And I was a stupid idiot because she went to work before I went to school, and I could have just as easily put something else on. But I got I got picked on and everything else with it. That's all I needed.
83 shit. This 73 was what I was talking about.
I'm talking about 83.
Yeah.
73, they were
Yeah.
actually popular.
They were. It was hard to find them. That hard to find non-bell bottoms.
The only potentially useful thing you could have done in 83 with them was turn them into cutoffs.
Yeah, there you go.
Chop off the bell bottoms.
I like bell bottoms. I mean, I didn't like them then when I got beat up over them and shit, but
Yeah.
I think they look kind of cool. The big elephant ones.
Because hell, when did Clapton have bell bottom blues? When that's like 69?
That album came out in 70 or 71.
Yeah.
I think maybe 70. Layla.
Do you also remember shirts had ridiculously long collars on them?
Oh yeah. Oh, watch Barney Miller.
Yeah.
Because Barney Miller was it came out right in the shirt collar period, and you could just see him just get longer and longer in every season. It's like you get to the point where it's like, where's your head? Why do you have all this crap?
I think there was something weird about ties too at some point.
Oh, they got so fucking wide. And
Yeah.
it's okay if you're my size, but if you're skinny and you wear a tie that's wider than your neck,
Yeah. Looks ridiculous.
I think ties look ridiculous anyway. So
I mean, I like them.
I know you like them. That's fine.
Not for them now.
I just I never got it. I never will. It's not everything is for everybody.
Well, it brings the look together. It kind of, and then also when it is actually cold, it does kind of keep the heat in.
Okay.
I think the thing I like most about ties is that for whatever reason, women find guys wearing ties very appealing. So that's a good way to score women.
No, because they think you have money.
Never worked for me. It didn't work worth a damn for me, even though I like wearing ties.
You never know.
It
Well,
also
if you're like anything like me, that women could be all over you, and I don't even get it. Get the signals.
Yeah.
I'm too.
Oh, what was I listening to? It might have even been one of Steve's comedy bits about women that men don't understand when women are flirting with them. It's not just us too. It happens to other people too.
I think if you're shy, which is a lot of people, and it was. What?
Sorry, I was just going to say I see Stefan left the Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if he wanted,
When he said he was being yelled at,
Yeah.
when he said he was being yelled at, does he mean that you guys were yelling at him, or does he mean that like
What we
Miss
weren't.
Vicky and
He
somebody
has
else
a-
was yelling at
As
him?
he said in chat, he has a different definition of yelling. Yelling means you actually tell him something. That's
I don't
yelling.
know, but I try to patron his show when I can, and if he's going to be like this, if you don't see me at his show, you'll know why. I'm getting sick of this shit. Anyway, what were we talking about? Ties?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Not
And
your
also
fault.
for guys my size,
You weren't even here. You didn't yell at him.
Yeah.
No, I was distracting the topic now.
Oh,
We're
okay.
knocking
But
they're off.
They're also
off
slimming
kilter.
if you're built like me. Kind of gives you some verticality.
Okay, well, I understand. I just, like I said,
He wants
it's
to fight you because of the ties. Look at him.
yeah, because of the tie.
Yeah. And then he's got a blender and a tie, which is a bad combination.
I think I've only
See,
seen that
that's a
happen.
reasonable width tie that the dude's wearing in the background behind you there, Tony.
But isn't he supposed to have a jacket, or the tie's not going to work?
Well, no, if you're an engineer, you have to wear a dress shirt, tie, and no jacket. And he only has one pen.
Well,
which
doesn't the tie get
I
caught
don't
in that
think
machine?
he's a professional engineer.
The tie
Because
gets
an
caught in the
engineer
machine.
should have at least 2 or 3 pens.
Well, it seems
Looks like
that,
he's pointing out a shitty dual cone speaker setup there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the ties get caught in the machines and stuff. You don't want that.
Yeah. No, I had a service manual for the Volkswagen, and it said, "Be careful! Don't wear a tie when you're working on a running engine." Just like, what?
There's got to be some dumbass somewhere that's been choked to death or whatever from that, eh?
Yeah, I guess.
Or killed. Yeah, it's just
Not killed.
people do really stupid things around moving objects like that.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people have been strangled by having a tie get caught in the fan, their fan belt.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have a lot.
That's why they put that thing over the fan belts, because
Right.
any kind of safety precautions, because some dum-dum.
Oh,
Luffy
you
over
ever
it.
seen a under the hood of a first generation Monte Carlo?
No, but I heard
engine
they had
is-
6-foot hoods.
Yeah, and the engine is like halfway back, and so there's not just a little thing around the fan. There's a freaking barrel between the radiator and the fan.
Oh, my 92
Seriously,
Firebird.
1.5 feet long.
Well, my 92 Firebird had a V6 in it. So
Huh.
literally between the front cone and the engine, could literally sit in there and work on it. I mean, there was that much space in it. It was neat.
Yeah, I was going to say, or there'd be enough open space to stand anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it could literally get inside there to work on it. It was really funny. I mean, I thought it was neat because it actually made it kind of comfortable. But yeah, there's a lot of space there. I miss that car,
Yeah.
but I like the pony better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, did you see the pictures of the sheds that I?
Oh God, yeah. And then when he explained that, so you added the windows and the shutters, and everything else was just you did it with paint.
Yeah.
That's amazing, the effect.
Oh, thank you. I never even seen it done before. When I'm out on the swing and I'm looking through the woods, and I just see the bright sheds and their eyesores. It's like it's this blah. They're ruining the vibe. You dig? And it's like maybe I could paint it camouflage just at one side, and then I don't know what I was thinking. I guess when I was gonna pressure wash everything because they were getting nasty and mildew, and I'm like, why don't I make them into cabins and just they didn't even have anything to go by really. I think I did I kind of goggled like fake shutters for sheds, and I saw that somebody made one out of wood, just using wood slat. No, I was trying to find like I don't know, like wooden shutters, like old fashioned, like you'd see in a Cape Cod place or something, so yeah, I just kind of did it all. It was fun. It was kind of neat. It was a fun project.
Because at first I thought you were like actually put some kind of log siding on it, but
No, I just painted it. The shed with the red shutters, I put tape.
Yeah.
To make to where the grout would be, so I could just paint, the masking tape. And when I went to pull the tape off, it was pulling the paint because the paint was kind of gummy on it. I'm like, well, shit, that didn't work. So I had to take a razor knife to all of it.
It's Mr. 522.
Huh?
I don't know if you heard that. My neighbor with the Harley with no mufflers, just straight pipes. 5:22 a.m. every stinking morning. 5:22 on the dot. Goes rolling by with the Harley with the straight pipes and no mufflers.
That asshole next door, something happened with his truck. It's
Ah.
been quieter. I don't see his little low rider thing, but now he's chopping down all of his old growth trees, the big beautiful trees that are part of my view. Or he's taking one branch at a time. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I keep, and I feel bad. I'm like, God forgive me, but I keep thinking, oh, this one, please let him fall off the ladder, and please this one, let the branch fall on. I keep, it's terrible thoughts. I shouldn't be thinking that. But anyway, yeah, it was when I had the was pulling the tape off. It was pulling the paint off.
Oh.
So I had to cut it. Had to cut each tape with a razor knife, and then the rear shed, I just cut it in without taping it or anything. But the shed was painted to match the house. I painted the shed green when I first got it.
Uh-huh.
When I painted the house, so instead of the grout being a light gray like it is on the front shed, it looks like a mint cookie cake on the rear shed, because the grout is a kind of a mint green. I think you guys have already tuned me out and doing your own thing.
No, I'm looking at it. I'm actually looking at it.
Oh, thanks. Well,
you're looking at the sheds. I don't know where to see those.
Can you put a picture up somehow? Is that possible? Because I can't do anything. Oh, maybe I can, because no, can I do that with Zoom when I'm hosting this? I think I can.
Wouldn't you do screen share for that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I could do that.
But the problem with screen share is
I can't do a screen share. I just have to change my profile pic. I can do that. Give me a second. No, I can't. That's not what I want to do. I have to click on the dots. That's what I have to do. Edit profile picture. Let me try this. And at least get a glimpse of what I'm talking about. It's tough when you're talking about pictures on a show with you can't show pictures.
Oh, there's a shed. Is that one of your sheds?
That's it.
Cool. And those are functional windows? They're real?
Yeah, they're real. They're 12-inch windows. And I'm going to show. So this is the rear shed.
Ah,
there's another one.
Looks spooky. But see,
I got two sheds.
I got two of them, and they know what I was going to say. Oh, I bought little nautical lanterns, anchor lanterns for them. So
they're cool sheds. So
thank you, sir.
What do you do with them? Are you using them for storage, or is there something?
Yeah, the rear one that had the blue shutter, that's my storage shed, and the red shutters that Tony's got there is the tool shed.
Okay.
That's in the front of the house.
So you've got a pretty big lot.
It's an acre.
Oh, that is big.
Yeah. It's a skinny acre. It's like a bowling lane. But it's cool. It kind of keeps me far from the road. Not far from the noisy neighbor, but, what can you do?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my old picture again. There we go. Well, shit. I'll post one more.
Okay.
That's a stupid picture. I'll post it anyway. Okay, that's a view of the spooky 1 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the lanterns are kind of
It's like the one that's like the one that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the movie where the grandfather lived. Basically,
yeah, they're kind of
phone booth that he lived in.
yeah.
So are your sheds like on concrete slabs or something, or just how are they installed?
Good question. I don't know what's underneath those damn things. I don't know what they put under them. One of them they forgot a jack, and I still got a metal hoisting jack under that front one.
Yeah, it looks like you just got have concrete piers. It's just like concrete blocks.
They're probably on blocks, probably. Yeah.
Okay. But they're strong enough and stable that a windstorm won't knock them down or anything like that.
Oh no,
right?
no, they're anchored and stuff.
Okay.
I believe they're anchored. Yeah. Let's see. I keep wanting to go back to my costume, and then I'm like, well, I didn't show this view yet.
Yeah.
The lanterns were the most expensive part of it. I think it's because of the Chinese tariffs.
Oh, but they look good.
Thanks. But it was what they are is those are oil burning lamps.
Oh, so there's no electricity going into the shed.
No, but what I did is I wired solar paneled LEDs into those lamps.
Oh,
so there's solar panels on the opposite ends of the shed, and so the first day when I put them up, I had the solar panels out in the yard all day, or for a few hours, and those lights they stayed on all night. At least the red one did. So that was pretty cool. But that black shed doesn't get any light, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's cool then. So it's an oil lamp, but with an LED in its place. Instead of the oil. Yeah, looks good.
Thank you. And I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
I think the correct line is, if I recall from Cheech and Chong or whatever it was, "Ooh la wee, I sure gotta pee." Something like that.
Well, the line from I think what was it? Oh God, I hate when I just go up on a title of something, even though Timmy's previous movie, not I Wonder for Myself, but the other one, Last Page of Summer. That was one of Steve's lines was going to pee, get some coffee, and come right back. And that's something he actually said on the morning show years ago, and it just worked. It worked so beautifully.
Look at that pull-out control panel on that.
Oh yeah, see, this is a
washing
modern
machine.
all-electric home. Even that weird thing.
Oh, that pseudo fireplace then is not a gas fireplace; it's an electric.
Yeah, everything's electric. It's an all-electric Westinghouse promo film. The Cone of Silence. Sorry about that, Chief.
I'm back.
The cone, that's cool.
Minute profile picture.
Even though their clothes and hairstyles are obviously very dated, they're pretty good-looking babes.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
You.
On the video that's running behind Tony.
Oh, that thing.
He's got 1,400. It's like there's enough oven capacity to feed an army in that joint. Yeah, remember when a lady's hairstyle wasn't supposed to move even in a high wind?
Well, and look at that; it's all computer controlled there.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Wow, that cooked really fast.
Well, fried strawberries and sticks, or whatever the hell it is. Oh, there you go.
It's better. Well, it's not. I don't know if it's
That's,
better. I
Vicki
can't take her. I
Lawrence,
couldn't
right?
take her home with me like the shed.
Is that Vicki Lawrence?
Oh, and look, I think that's that. I'm trying to remember.
I
Is that
think
called a
that
balalaika
picture
or
was
whatever that
taken-
weird instrument, the triangular instrument?
Yeah,
behind it?
yeah, they got a ball like on the wall for no reason. But
That's
that
so
was the
weird.
night. That was the very night that the lights went out in Georgia.
Do you think that's weird? Look at one of the base baklavas or whatever, the Russian. Those things are huge. It's like a triangle that's as big as a backdrop for a basketball hoop or something. It's like they're huge and they sound
Hey, Laura.
good. They're acoustic, but they have a very full, loud bass tone to them.
Oh yeah. Hi, Laura. I'm sorry, Steve hates us now, so he doesn't want to be on the show anymore.
Guess not. Hi, Laura.
Was that what he said? No, he just the last thing I saw he said in the chat was, I guess our definitions of getting yelled at are different.
We were already walking on
'cause he makes
eggshells
his own-
around him. I don't know what the hell he's.
Yeah.
Even when I asked him if he could get rid of his square, I said, "We love you, Steve, and love you being here. But if you're gonna leave the show, can you sign off so we don't have your square filling it up?" I tried to be nice. Can't imagine anything else I'd said.
See, even the dirty movies are like.
Look at that! It was like a secret compartment opening up.
Yeah.
Is that
to a movie projector?
Is that kitchen of Disney? Future.
Oh, look at the screen coming down automatically. There you
Look
go.
at that shit. I mean, that's amazing. And the clock where you don't really know what time it is. It's like.
Oh, look at the clock. The time is now flying.
Yeah, but it's like little bean o'clock. Which bean is which? You have to count the beans. Oh man, look at that stuff. That floor and
Wow.
You know what?
Lots of sliding, moving things.
When I was the AV guy at Blue Cross, that's basically what it was. They're showing me setting up I wasn't a woman, but I was setting up the conferences because the screens would go down with the button automatically, and it had that wall divider that would it was something I had to pull out by hand, but it was still like
right. This one was powered because
Yeah.
on Star Trek, the original series, they had it was just they would have a guy pulling the doors open and close, and people would write in and say, "How do you get those pocket doors to work so smoothly?" And we have a guy standing in there to.
Well, the thing is most of that stuff is pretty low tech when you think about it. The lights behind the plexiglass wall. I mean, that's something that you could probably any handyman could probably do something like that. Even that place at Blue Cross, it was like the Jetsons. The whole place was designed with that retro modern look. It was really neat.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that place.
Well, I was the AV nerd back in high school, and we had the main dining hall had screens that would lower you.
Get a load of that TV set in the background.
Oh, hell yeah!
Okay, I'm gonna.
I think we saw a turntable or two too.
We're gonna make
Looked like it would look like an automatic record changer.
Imagine how many dozens of miles of wire it took back then to make all that. Yeah, back then. I say it's low tech now, but they didn't have the microchips and the things back then. They had to have like tons of wires and stuff.
And now they got their own classroom, like at home. It's not bad enough they got to mess around with that.
Look at the map.
Ooh.
Oh, the map just
Look at
suddenly
that.
changed. Wow.
But I mean, back then it was just like, oh, I can't believe it. And now it's just like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's just like, yeah, that's neat. Can I buy that
Oh,
on
look at
Amazon?
that. A table pulled down.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a bunch of tools.
It's just the time we live in is because back then it just made everybody poop themselves. And now you look at it and it's like, oh, can I get that on Amazon? Is that something I could, it's a cool gadget. Is that sharper image stuff,
You're showing your age with sharper image. Are they still around?
And here this guy is getting ready to work with tools, but he's got a jacket and tie on.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think
And
once
he's got
Amazon
woodworking
happened,
tools, it looks like it, unless that's the garage. Maybe it is the garage.
Oh, hi, Wendy Lou.
Pretty bizarre.
Now that we're
Hey,
finally
Wendy
getting,
Lou.
Hey, Wendy Lou, how are you? Now that we're getting an audience,
Hey, Laura and Wendy, could you try to talk Steve into coming back and like being a good guy again?
Oh, Laura K was saying, I wonder where Stefan Giroux it was.
Yeah, Giroux.
Giroux, yeah. And then Wendy Lou. That sounds like a song. Hello, Wendy
I'm
Lou.
gonna put you to work, Phil. Give us a round robin.
Eh?
I forgot you're Canadian.
What you talking about, Willis?
So Putt, that guy that used to be here, it's always in the hospital now.
Oh, bummer. I hope he's going to be okay. The
I hope so
Puttster.
too. I'm getting more pessimistic.
Ugh.
But
You want tunes?
no tunes. He would give us a round robin, which would be
A question.
a question that would be for all of us to go around and answer.
Oh.
It could be it would be like a question. If you, and I don't want a superhero question because I hate superhero. We're so sick of those. But it would be like an example. If you could be a superhero, what would you want to be? So that would be a round robin, and everybody would go. So can you give us a round robin?
All right, let me think of something here.
Sure. Now, Gottschalk, if he was here, he would have a book that he gives us. It kind of just gives us subject matter to keep the show going.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, Wendy Lou said, "Come back, Steve. You left before I got here."
All right. Well, how's this? If you could have any car right now, which car would you have?
A car that I don't have?
Yeah. Or it could be, I mean, if the car you do have
Timmy's
is exactly the one you want
pretty
to.
extensive these days.
What's that?
Timmy's collection is pretty extensive these days.
Oh, really? How many vehicles do you have, Timmy?
He's like the Jay Leno of our group.
I've got 3 automobiles.
You do?
I've got a 2013 Scion FRS. It's a little sports car, Japanese thing, and I've got a Silverado pickup, and I've got a 1970 Mustang.
Okay.
That's my.
Well, because of what I inherited when my brother passed away, I actually have 5 vehicles.
Oh yeah, what are they?
Okay, well, the one that was really mine, I've got a 2017 Jaguar XE.
A what? 20,000 what?
2017 Jaguar XE.
What is that?
It's a little Jag.
Is that the one that looks like a Buick, or is that the?
I don't think it looks like a Buick. It looks like a Jag to me, but it's sort of in the. They don't sell them here anymore, but it's in the same size category of something like a BMW 3 Series or an Audi 80. I think it was some of its competitors. So it's a sports sedan. It's got all-wheel drive. Has a diesel engine.
The diesel, yeah, that's right. Because
it's got 180 horsepower, but it has 315 pound-feet of torque. So it's got a hell of a lot of torque.
Yeah, you can still get diesels up here. Diesels, we go through phases in the United States where every so often there'll be a bunch of diesels that come out and then all gone.
Well, what happened with what Jaguar did, I think, like what many other manufacturers did, thanks to the stupid Dieselgate thing, they phased out the diesels in this market. But they were fun while they lasted. So I got that, and then the company vehicle is a 2019 Chevy Volt.
That doesn't count.
It's a car. It's a great car. It's a lot of fun.
It's electric, isn't it?
It's electric, but it has a gasoline generator engine that kicks in when the battery runs down.
Yeah.
So it has typically under good weather, it'll have about 85 kilometers of all battery range. And then if you have a full tank of gas, that adds another 500 to 600 kilometers of range. It's a hell of a lot.
Which is about 85 feet.
Here's a picture of my little pony.
Now Chevy has 3 of them. They've got the Volt.
That's
nice.
They've
got the Spark, and they've got the.
Well, the Volt was discontinued with the 2019 model year. Oh, okay. So that was my last.
He's being
I got one of the last ones. What had happened was one of the vehicles I inherited from my brother was a 2012 Chevy Volt, but it was kind of like a stripper basic model, and it didn't have all the cool things I like adaptive cruise control and other fun stuff like that. And then the 2019s were out, and we had government incentives at the time, which added up to $10,000, although that was before tax, so it actually ended up being about $8,800 discount. But that plus a trade-in, and I was able to get the 2019, which was a premier model, so it's got all the options.
And it's 2019 what?
2019 Chevy Volt Premier.
Well, what's the other one then?
What do you mean?
How many cars you say you had?
5. So the first one was the Jaguar, then there's the Volt.
Right.
Then there's a 2014? No, 2016 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. The big 4-door monster.
Is that the one you inherited?
That's one of the ones I inherited.
Do you drive it?
Yeah, I do. Not a lot, but I do have it on the road. It's one with gigantic wheels and jacked up suspension.
Other than the modifications, I would say that's the most prestigious car you've said so far.
Okay, well, I'm not quite done yet. Then there's a 2012 Corvette.
Nice.
That was also inherited. And the final one, which is not here, it's out in the Okanagan in a garage, but it's a 1969 El Camino.
Wow, you got it going. So No, you got me. So you got me. You know.
Well,
Saving
it's
the
mainly
best for
because of what I
last.
inherited, right? It's not like I went out of my way to have that many vehicles. So
What are you
there was
gonna-
actually one more vehicle, but I managed to sell that one off. Was a big ass. I think it was a 60. Trying to remember what year it was. Maybe 66, 67, whatever. It was a huge Chevy Impala, but one of the ones that's like a land yacht.
Ah.
So
Yeah, they're full size.
it was big. It was a huge, big ass vehicle.
They weren't
I
really
mean, the El
land
Camino
yachts
is not
then.
exactly small. So
Yeah, the El Camino is based on the Chevelle, so it's considered a mid-size.
Yeah,
but-
intermediate.
yeah, one unusual thing with it, it's a 69, and in 69, the Chevelle had gone to ventless side windows.
Oh, we were talking
glass.
about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on my El Camino, it still has the vent windows.
What was it, Canadian?
I guess, but all the El Caminos in '69 still had vent windows. It was just one of those things. They switched on the Chevelle, but they didn't change it on the El Camino.
Because that was always interesting in the 50s and 60s. GM particularly had sometimes they'd have different. They had the. Oh, what was I thinking of? Instead of Pontiac, it was like. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue, and then it just went right off the side of my head.
Oh, sorry about that.
Was it Pontiac El Camino?
No. But although they had one, but they had just different names.
Oh, there was a GMC
There was the
Sprint.
Acadian.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the Pontiac brand, especially the lineup in Canada, was totally different than the U.S.
Yeah,
Like,
because
we
I
had,
remember in '70 they had a Pontiac version of the Chevelle that still had that '69 rear windows and stuff. Anyway, this is getting boring to our audience because our audience are women and they probably don't care about this. But to answer your
because women and machinery don't mix, right?
well, to add to give my answer, because this was a round robin, I would say a 1970 Dodge Coronet RT split top.
Those are cool.
Yeah, that would be my, that would have been my choice, but Mopars got so expensive, they were out of my price range. So the reason I got, because I'm not a Ford guy.
The really crazy ones are coming back down.
Yeah, well, I'm not a Ford guy, but the reason, and Tony remembers this, the reason I bought my Mustang is because when I first saw it, I said, it's Terry Summer as a car!
Yeah.
And it was, it still is. And even Jill that owns the theater, the Playhouse I go to, when she first saw it, everybody, she was just like, it looks like a cartoon!
That's funny. Tony, what about you? What would be your choice of car?
One of these.
Yeah, what is it?
Early
Well, that's
30s
nice.
Bentley.
Wow.
Very cool.
See, I need the car because I already have the hat.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have a windscreen.
Yeah, it does. It's folded down.
Okay.
Oh, fold down type. Yeah,
It actually has two windshields. It's got a full-size windshield that's folded down, and then two little ones that they call Brooklands screens because there was a racetrack in England called Brooklands. Not Brooklyn like Brooklyn Dead, but Brooklands.
And it's got these really cool turn signals where you got to put your arm out.
Yeah.
Well, you also had to put your arm out to put the brake on because that's the brake handle out there. And notice there's no door for the driver. You got to get in through the
What is that,
passengers.
like a 1919?
No, it's about a 31.
Wow.
That's cool. My 2016 Jeep, the windshield can fold down like that.
Ah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
I
somebody,
already have
if
the
for
hat,
some
so I
reason I
need to-
suddenly got the idea that I wanted to go out driving and eat bugs, that's what I could do.
Did you say you got a
Right.
26 Jeep too?
No, 2016 Jeep.
Oh, I thought you said a
Remember
20.
Wrangler?
I thought you said a 26 Jeep. I'm like, I didn't know they made.
No,
them
no,
back then.
2016. Sorry, I speak like a Canadian.
Oh,
Eh?
A. You did say
Eh?
A.
Oh, you know,
Hey.
that's the thing. If it's the aughts, I will say 2001, 2002, 2003. But then starting at 2010, I say 2010. Now, Molly will say 2003 and 2002, and it just sounds so weird to my ears.
Yeah, it is probably correct to do that, but I would generally not do that either. But 2016, I wouldn't say 2016. To me, that sounds stupid.
I think I just say 03. In fact, when people ask what year my Silverado is, I'll say an 18. Because obviously it's not a 1918. Pretty obvious.
Well, that's because my dad was born in 06, so I just not 2006, but
well, it's different when you're talking about that. But when you're talking about a Silverado, you're not going to say a 1918 Silverado. You know.
Well, they didn't have Silverados, but they had cars.
Yeah, but they're like
had
Model J's or something back then, or Model A. What was it? What was the truck called? I thought there was like a Model J. It doesn't matter. We're boring our lady friends here. They don't want to.
Okay, so do I answer my own round robin question?
Yeah,
or
you
no?
already got 20 cars.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, it was the idea. What would I want if I could have any car? I would go with the 1971 Plymouth Roadrunner.
Oh yeah,
which was a really cool looking car.
It was.
With its funky loop bumper and everything.
Yeah, I guess I prefer the 70. I kind of liked the style, the late 60s boxy style. But yeah, actually, I was in my short list when I was going to buy the Mustang. On my top 5, there was a 73 Roadrunner, which had the 71 styling. It just didn't have the loop bumper.
Yeah, there was a point in time.
Are you guys
I guess
okay?
it was either 74 or 75 when the Roadrunner became enormous. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was just kind of just
because I think the satellite grew as well, and it became almost like a full size car. It was really goofy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they used the Cordoba style. It became almost a full size car. But yeah, they.
Wendy wants a light blue 50 Chevy Bel Air.
1950.
I think they were all light blue back then.
Wow, that's.
See, here you go. Wendy Lou's okay with the car talk.
Okay.
And Laura Kay mentioned the cool older kid in her neighborhood when she was little had a Roadrunner painted metallic blue.
Beautiful. See, I love metallic blue. My problem with the Roadrunner that was for sale, it was at the top of my range, but it was Florida. I wouldn't have had to pay for shipping. But the thing is the dealer or whatever kept bragging that it was petty blue. Like with an exclamation point. It's petty blue. I'm like, whoop-de-doo! I think petty blue I think that's an ugly color, to be honest. I mean, you can be a Richard Petty fan. Yeah, he was a good race car driver for a few years before he just crashed all the time. But, I mean, they called him king for a reason. But it's still not a very pretty color. I mean, if it's a blue car, it needs to be metallic. I'm sorry. It just needs to be metallic. And I'm sorry I said I'm sorry. I hate people that say I'm sorry when they're talking. Oh, there's my car. As soon as I brought it home, it had the stupid rims on it that I replaced. And if Tony...
How'd that speedometer bullshit work for you?
I haven't put it in yet.
Yeah. Because you were telling me earlier, like talking to me like I didn't know a damn thing about cars and tire sizes and all that stuff. Your 17-inch rims are not going to make a taller combination than the old 14s. You got very low profile tires compared.
Well, then I got a shitty speedometer. I don't know when I rev it up to go to 45, it shoots up to 70 and back. I don't know. I got a GPS speedometer that changes. I can set the color. It can be orange to match the car or whatever. And I want to know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I've still got it's got a cup that I've got to mount. I've got to figure out a place to put it where it's not ugly. And then I've got to wire it because I've got to wire the light to the switch side and, all this stuff. I can do all that. It's just, it involves heat in the summer and being in the car and,
Right.
I probably shouldn't have bought any of this Chinese shit until the embargo's over or the tariff thing. I've tried to avoid that stuff. I'm paying so much for Amazon stuff now.
Yeah.
Like those lanterns were $130 for the set, and I bet they would have been like $60 a couple months ago. Is that Series 1 Hot Wheels?
Yep. That's right there.
Amazon can be a real bitch. Have you noticed that? You'll see something that seems like a good price, and then think about it, the next day the price is doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to think about things because of that. I did go on eBay and look other places for the lanterns. I will give myself that. Yeah. And I did find a little bit better deals, but Amazon had the one that just had the perfect shape. They just...
right. Because it's hard. There's something about it. It either looks right or it doesn't.
Right. I'm going to put my hand
I can't put my finger on why, but there's something will look right or it won't.
Right. It just needed those curves that the one I got. You know.
And Keaton the Cool Guys wants. I don't think you make a drawing of him because you don't even know what he looks like.
Oh, hey, Keaton. Yeah, I don't do commissions currently, but if you really want commissions, I will put you on the list because I won't burn bridges either. But it's not something I currently do. Keaton, are you the one that was here a couple of weeks ago with the blind girlfriend? I'm trying to remember. I'm getting older now. It's harder for me.
So is it Keaton the cool guy or is it Keat on the cool guy?
I'm assuming it's Keaton because I believe I've called him Keaton.
Yeah, it must
before.
be Keaton the cool guy. Okay.
Were you in Batman in '89? You know what's funny is, and I wasn't the only one, went to see a movie called Earth Girls Are Easy back in '89. And we went to the movie because we'd heard that the Batman trailer was going to play before the movie. So we went to see that movie just to see the trailer for Batman. And then one of those things, well, you don't see it until somebody points it out. But then they point it out and you can't unsee it. Is the Batman logo with the bat and the you know the cutout of the bat wings and everything looked like an open mouth with teeth.
Well, did you see what I did with that, Tony? That I actually made it into a face?
Oh boy, I probably did.
It's on my DeviantArt profile. Also, it's at the very end in the end credits of my Transforama Batman transformation. Yeah, Keaton. You don't want me to make a model. I'm not good at that stuff. I don't really do caricatures of people. I make cars and planes and stuffs. And in fact, when I don't make
birds and rocks and things.
No, I don't make birds. I hate birds. But they.
The musician doesn't recognize kind of song lyrics.
I know you're talking about that stupid band, the Eagles, America, America
Eagle
Eagles,
America,
Eagle Americas. No, they. If you look at the Apology None films, all the people are done in 2D. And I do have 3D people for the action scenes and stuff, but they're not very detailed in their face and stuff. So it's not like something I can't just make 3D people. And I don't really make caricatures of people in person. I tried to make my TV pal Fred Brodsky, my Kansas City, the TV guy I grew up with that I idolized, and he ended up being in my feature film. And I drew him, or I tried to draw him as he looked in the 70s, and what Molly comes in at the last 10 minutes of the movie when I'm doing my watch party. She was like, "Oh, is that Bob Newhart?" And I'm just like, "Really?" You know, the guy's here probably watching this right now. He doesn't, need you here heckling him. So no, I don't do very good caricatures anyway. I have a few original characters, and I apologize. I'm not yelling at you, Keaton. I raise my voice because I'm very passionate about what Phil's thinking about. Oh, that's disgusting, Phil. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
What the fuck? What the fudge?
Hmm?
Yeah. Welcome back.
I'm here.
Hey, dudes. Well, thanks for having me on the big broadcast. I'm going to have to.
Oh, gee, I scared off our Phil.
Yeah.
No, I got to go. But
Right.
I've been in here filling in for Stephane Giroux.
Yeah.
The mighty Steve Jarrett, the jar with the rotten extra
You sure you
teeth.
can't hang out a half an hour? It's Coney and I can't. We can't do this ourselves.
Well, you're going to have to try because I'm under contract to assist Mo. She's moving.
Oh, right.
And it's a big moving process. And the next stage, there's part of the process happening now. And I agreed to do it, so that's the way it goes. So, yeah, Stefan will be hosting Mammary Lane again this Saturday.
Oh,
I think we were going to probably alternate it, but I'm on call for doing slave labor for Mo, so I'm not available.
Does he pre-record it or something?
No, it's all live.
How does he do something live without going chicken shit and leaving? Because somebody had hurt his feelings in chat.
I don't know. Well, we just do things live. I mean, I had. That's funny. When I the last time I guest hosted, I guess that was the short notice one. It's almost 2 weeks ago. No, a week and a half ago. There were a couple of different Shaz drive-by moments. I think Shaz, he didn't know for sure if Big Bob was going to be there or if I was actually guest hosting. And when they found out it was me, they left in a hurry. Some kind of excuse.
So is Shaz a dude or a chick?
A dude.
A transitional dude, right?
Started as a dude. They're either a dude or they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are the
by our
chromosomes
standard,
are the chromosomes XX or XY?
XY, but
Okay.
they claim to be the opposite.
Well, I claim to be the Batmobile.
Yeah, there you go. But to give credit, this person was one long before it became a fad.
Well, okay.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Sure.
Same with the other Shaz.
Well, the other one is a girl who's like grew a beard for some reason.
And now shaved her hair. She got less hair than our Phil here.
Yeah.
Hey, I used to have a full head of hair. I just it's so long ago I don't remember. But
All right,
no, I really did.
I see you typing in the Facebook, and just type something, or better still, just come in here and just click the link, because we've got a half hour to fill. Because we're losing Phil, so we got to fill.
All right. Well, my apologies for that, but
for Phil.
Well, thanks for being aboard. I mean, that's.
You're welcome, and
thanks for filling in, Phil. We appreciate it.
Had I actually had something worthwhile to say, I would have done so, but I didn't. But that's the way it goes.
Oh, Gottschalk's doing that thing where you see the little dots like he's typing something, and then it just stops.
Hey?
Now there it is again. There's some more dots.
I don't know where you're seeing dots.
This messenger. I got
that means
Facebook
he's
messenger.
Typing something and keeps deleting what he's typing because he's having trouble.
Oh, Laura K says bye, Phil. Bye, Laura. K308. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
All right. Well, thanks for
as Big Fry would say, fry for now.
Okay. He says it a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Monsters from inner or outer space. Are we still doing it with the little dots? Okay, three little. They're doing the little wave, the dot wave.
Yeah, I see.
Like
now I got to readjust our thing. There we go. See, I remember to do it this time because I'm actually looking at this through OBS. So.
Because I got to figure out what I did with the OBS where I don't have to mess with it.
Oh yeah, there's a secret.
I found the combination that works, but I can't remember what it did. Free TV.
Hey, Chuck, come on in. Is that who you're talking to? Who are you talking about?
Well, I had him in the Facebook Messenger.
Well, usually he at least types in YouTube because I can't even open up Messenger. It'll bog everything down.
Because I see his little Bill the cat thing. God, he almost said so. Yay! Okay, his cousin was spent the last week in the Orlando hospital in the ICU. Was released from the hospital this afternoon, and okay. Well, I mean,
what's that have to do with you being here?
The cousin is, I guess, was staying at his house for a little while before going back to Alabama. Yeah, it's just that it's sort of a confluence of things because Putt's in the ER, and Steve, God knows. I mean, they would love the man, but it's got I don't know. We're knockabout guys, we banter. It's what grown-ups do. But suddenly it's like, do I got to walk on eggshells?
Well, we were already walking on eggshells where we didn't say anything offensive. I don't know what the... I got to modify this where my teeth aren't always gritting.
You're gritting?
This isn't really what I was wanting to use a lot.
What I'm going to do when I hit the lottery is A, get my teeth fixed, and B, travel. But I'll probably want to get my pain in the butt, my literal pain in the butt looked at so I can walk more, because I don't want to be one of those old farts who travels the world and sees it all through the window of a damn tour bus.
Well, I would even accept that.
I mean, but you got to get out once in a while. You can hear, oh, there's the Trevi Fountain. Oh, great. And then, there's the Arc de Triomphe. Oh, cool. I do like to be able to walk around.
Wendy, I'm looking at doing the trip maybe July 11th, and maybe a week or 10 days. But I'm trying to ask a house sitter if he's available then. And I haven't heard back. I went to text him, and his phone number no longer exists. See, people, even kids change their phone.
Yeah.
number.
So if he was up, he would be. If he was on YouTube, he'd be up shit creek.
Yeah, he would. I don't get it.
Welcome to the BBC. This is John, and this is my little butterball Paul. You seem to be putting on a couple pounds there, Paul.
I'm gonna I forget you said that because you're not one to talk. You're with that Yoko, everything. And speaking of which, you notice I said which. Oh, oh! Why did you do that? I was just kidding.
Yeah. Give Paul a break. I mean, honestly, calm down. In fact, I wrote a song for you. Let me. Wrong voice. Let me get my guitar. I don't have it with me. I'll go a cappella like a good fella that I am. I wrote this song for Yoko. I did. And she's making me wish that I'd never been born.
Ow! 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 Gee whiz, those. Oh, that was me. I'm having trouble with my voices.
Anyway, see, John, that's what happens when you stop beating your women. You need to go back to what you wrote with the have to admit you're getting better song.
I used to beat my women all the time, my girlfriend.
That was such a weird song. The Beatles are supposed to be so lovey-dovey. How did that not derail their whole career, that song?
Yeah. Well, they did a lot of experimental crap. Like Steve was playing this morning. He played Mr. Moonlight. You know the one with the organ solo where nobody knows what the hell is going on? And then somebody else is on the piano going tink, 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 tink. It is the weirdest thing. I think it's like the weirdest Beatles
That's
song.
That's considered the worst Beatles song.
Probably.
I on one of my fun hours, it was the one where we made the field trip to the beach. It was number 16, and I ended it with a beautiful one song from Timothy Waller, and it's called Mr. Moonlight, and it was a pretty song. And I didn't know about a Beatles song called that, and I played it on the fun hour, and later on I found out the Beatles had a song. I'm like, what, did Timothy Waller just cover a Beatles song? Because I've been guilty of that before, finding out a Beatles, it was just a cover. But when I actually heard the Beatles, Mr. Moon, it's a totally different song. It was just crap. It was like a dog turd. But yeah, that's when my Missouri trip is supposed to be in July. My boss told me today that, because we got a very small team, she goes, if there's 2 people on the team that are off the same day, you can't take that week off. What kind of a situation does that put me in? It puts me in a kind of a icky situation, so I got to figure that out. I got to get a house sitter. That's what it's all about. It's not even put your left foot in and out. It's about getting a house sitter. That's what it's all about. So I was on Facebook, and they had a picture of my mom. They said then and now. And they had a picture of my mom that I had on there, and they said now, and it was just a black square. I'm like, you fuckers.
Yeah, that's not too cool.
It's not nice. At least have like a heaven and angel wings or something.
Yeah.
That'd be a good song title. Black Empty Square. Like, I'll put that on the next album. I am working kind of on the next album.
Really?
Yeah, I'm. What happens is Fridays I'll listen to demos that I hum,
Oh.
and I can listen to them all night. I mean, just hours. And I'm actually starting. Things are coming together in certain songs, and I'm going to this week. I'm going to kind of put things together and try to categorize these little hums. Like it's very complex now.
Yeah.
Because I have these like 15-minute song, these segments. They're called A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and I'll listen to it and I'll go in my phone. Okay, in D, at 12 minutes in, there's kind of a neat thing where it kind of sounds like this. So that's even complicated things even more. So I need to just go in and figure out what the hell I'm doing and categorize them. There's this one that I run across. I don't know. It's from a couple of years ago or whatever. I'm like, think of kind of a Frankie Valli kind of sound. This is me, my recording, me into the phone. So think of that, this kind of Frankie Valli kind of sound, and it's like, walk like a man. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, it is kind of a Frankie Valli sound there. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but oh well.
Yeah, well.
I don't know. Putt, Tony said that Jen said that Putt was on his way to ER or something.
Yeah.
That's the last we heard. So
pretty much the same thing, it's
I'm starting to be more pessimistic about Putt, unfortunately.
Hate to say it, but yeah.
And they, I mean, Notchchuck last December dropped a bomb saying that, he's ready. He's conditioned himself. I'm like, ready for what? And I didn't want to hear it. And I was really in denial about the whole thing, but shit, he's just been in the hospital more than not. And when he's been here, I couldn't even get him to do a round robin. He turned me down last time he was here. So I don't know. I can't imagine us without our Putt. He's on our prayer list. But if you're watching this, my priest said your name again last Sunday. We are pulling for you. But goodness, I wish he'd get better. He's not getting better. But you know what? It's just like a month ago, 6 weeks ago, it was in that our last precious moment, the one where he was talking about looking at the feet pictures, and that when I made that crack again, and he was just all laughs. He was doing just fine then. Yeah. It wasn't that long ago. Oh, our YouTube BabbleGab channel, the BabbleGab number 17. Would it hurt any of you to give it a like? I mean, what could you? There's got one like and it's mine. Literally, it's got one like and it's mine.
Could you all always like them?
Huh?
I think I actually missed that one.
Yeah, it's number 17. And that's why I know you're all guilty, because like I said, it's one like and it's mine. It's been up there a month. It hurts. We're trying to nurture this show. Need support. And I do thank you for being in chat here. I'm not yelling at you.
Here.
I am. Because I normally don't think about it when I'm doing the show, but when like on a Friday night, when I kind of look at some of those to get a laugh, and I look at like one like, really? And it's my like. Can you all just at least pretend to support this show? I know you're supporting it, Laura and Wendy. I'm not yelling at you. You don't have to do it. I even asked you, Gottschalk, to watch it. Putt and Gottschalk haven't even watched the film that they're in. And Putt said he doesn't have the time. It's like, what are you digging a railroad? What are you doing? You don't have time. I'm not going to yell at Putt. He's going through a lot. I already yelled at him the last show over it. He said he was sorry and he would try to watch it. But don't give me the excuse you don't have time. Just say you're too sick to watch it. That's fine. It's not fun. Sorry. You got 15 minutes left. Are you going to come in, Gottschalk, and round this out? At least he's here in chat.
Yeah.
I finished out my Scotch bottle. That's why I'm babbling. But it is BabbleGab. I'm allowed to babble.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
That's what Gracie'd say when I'd get a little too much. I become a babbling brook. I'd never heard that before. What is that behind you, Tony? What is that? Hypodermic needles and stuff? What is that?
No, that's all the snacks you can get at the snack bar.
It doesn't translate to black and white.
Coffee
really.
cups, hot dogs, razor blades, cigarettes.
Seriously, they all look like paraphernalia and stuff that's illegal back there.
Well, it's a fine line. Refreshments they can be a wide.
I don't know.
Definition.
I think now the refreshments are poison. I don't think they were back. They just had sugar back then. Now it's just like scientific experiments putting on. You know, I used to buy the stevia. It was supposed to be a natural sugar. It was supposed to be not too bad for you. But then I was almost going to buy a big bag of stevia again at Walmart. And I'm like, you know what? Because it said made with stevia. And I'm like, that's different than just being stevia. So I looked at the ingredients and it said the main ingredients was toxic pocket
the toxic pocket link.
Yeah, and then the second ingredient was stevia. And I'm like, what is toxic boombadlaga? You know, what the. So I didn't buy it. I just bought cane sugar. At least I know what it is and what it does.
I wonder if it was just like the scientific term for sand.
Sand's fine. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the length of that name. I'll have to look it up.
Oh, Gottschalk saw the movie.
He says he'll give his Siskel and Egbert next week. Well, they didn't like anything.
Actually, they did. They liked the stupidest shit. I remember I used to watch that show all the time, and I didn't really see that many movies. I knew that if they really, really liked a movie, I'd probably like it. And if they really, really hated a movie, I'd probably like it.
The ones they were mediocre about.
Yeah.
What I get is these people that are like these movies that they come out with, like a superhero movie or a Star Wars movie, and they're like, I thought it was okay. I'm like, you're conditioned to enjoy mediocrity, which is very sad. If you're going to spend, $50, which is what it costs now, to go see a movie with your popcorn, and you're going to spend all that time in the drive to see something mediocre.
Yeah. Because I haven't seen the inside of a movie theater since I believe 2011.
I watched the Am I Racist, I think. I will only watch movies that are like independent kind of movies.
Yeah. I suppose they have them out here, but also since I don't have a car, I don't want to like lock my bike up to a bike rack for 3 hours unattended. If the theater would allow me to do you have some place where I can put the bike where it's out of sight? But they're not going to accommodate you like that.
Can you bring it in with
you?
When
I do at work. I park my bike in the lobby, and I trust everybody at work.
Oh, so I tell you, every time the Mad Drummer posts a video and I respond, he did one. He did about how to mic drums internally. Where he bought these kind of fancy schmancy mounts and told you exactly how to do it, what screws to take out, and the different sounds. And he says, this is what it sounds like internally and with an external mic. And those of you who don't know the Mad Drummer, look him up. He's funny as heck. So I said, I basically said, I appreciate your, tutorial, but I said, I enjoyed the external better. I said, I like that primal thud. And I said, and when I mic my drums, I do it externally because I want my snare drum to catch the hi-hat and I want my floor tom to share the ride. And I think sharing the ride just seems like a groovy thing to do.
Ooh.
And he responded, the phrase primal thud is a great way to put it. I'm currently running everything externally. I'm just liking the natural tone at the moment. Yeah, he's pretty good at responding, which I enjoy. Because most of these pricks that have these YouTube channels, they never respond to anything I say.
Yeah, it's tough. Running those YouTube channels, it's kind of, you really got to commit to it. You know, you just
I honestly think
if you ask the people to interact, you got to interact with them back.
Exactly. Exactly. Because a lot of these content creators on YouTube, the bigger ones, I don't even think they look at their comments. I think that's all farmed out.
Because there's two that I like. There's a aviation guy, and oh man, I can't remember his name. God, I hate getting. Well, no, I've always been like this. It's not really getting old. But Greg's airplanes and automobiles, I think, and he gets into some really technical stuff about World War II planes and after, and he explains it very well. But it's you really have to be into it. But he interacts with his commenters, and the other guy is Uncle Stu. I've shown the motorcycle when he does his motorcycle stuff, and he's got this wonderful Yorkshire accent. It's just a pleasure to listen to the guy, and he's great at doing photography. He has some drones that can fly around him, and he takes some just wonderful views of everything. And he he reviews a bike. He'll take it out to this like 1,000-year-old church and just stuff like that. It's just wonderful, visually just wonderful.
So 2 questions: are they ones that get like millions of comments and stuff?
Well, they get a lot of them. Yeah, they're both pretty popular.
Do they respond to your comments? Do you comment?
I think, yeah, I haven't really gotten into it with either one of them, but I mean, reading the comments, you could see the replies and all that
Well,
stuff.
it's kind of how I judge them if they respond. To me, the Mad Drummer is the only one so far who's ever. Okay, so I will tell you this, and Gottschalk could not with us physically, but in spirit. I told you I couldn't stand that Professor of Rock. That kind of bald guy with the glasses that goes up and it's like, you won't believe what I'm going to tell you about this. When he acts so excited. This guy had a hit, and it was one of the longest songs ever on the radio, and people still don't know what he's talking about. And it's American Pie. We don't know what the fuck the song was. We know what it was for 45, 50 years now. Don't act like we're so stupid. I can't stand that guy, but there are 2 guys that I kind of like. One is the Music Mongoose. He's an English guy that does kind of the same thing, but he's not so freaking. And I'm an animator, but even people can be too animated. Yeah. And the other guy is I think it's called True Rock and Roll Stories, and he's an Arab. He's kind of this young Arab-looking guy, and he's good. Both of them are just kind of no nonsense, and it's not clickbaity stuff. They tell you the stories. It's like he'll say this band Aerosmith almost killed them. And I'll click on it, and he just talks about it. Yeah, they did this and that, and they got so and rumor has it when they left the estate because all they did was drugs, that their bass player or whatever wrecked his Ferrari at 130 miles an hour and this and that. And I looked it up, and you can't find that anything on it. So it might be total bullshit. So, he's pretty, but yeah, it's not clickbaity. He actually just tells you the story. That's all I want to know. Tell me the story. Don't act like I'm born under a cabbage leaf. Because there are some people that I don't even click on their YouTube things when they say 12 facts about this that you never knew. Don't assume that I never heard about something.
Oh, those are the worst.
I hate that. If they say that you probably never heard about, then I might probably watch your video. If you say I never heard about it, I'm never going to watch your video.
Yeah.
Just because you insulted me right then. Even if it's something I didn't hear about it. Just assuming that you know it all. It just pisses me off when people do that. Do you all in our audience feel the same way, or am I the only one that's worked up about that stuff?
Well, yeah. I don't think about it too much, but I see that and I see up yours.
Yeah, I know.
I hate those pictures. Oh, this is what your grandmother was doing in the 60s. No, neither of my grandmothers were even alive in the 60s. They were born in 1873 and 1882.
Oh, yeah, your grandmother.
So, no, they weren't standing next to Mustangs wearing minis.
Yes, I was about to say, yeah,
But Gottschalk said about the same thing I did. He says, talking about Siskel and Ebert, when they both liked it, I'd like it. If they both hated it, I liked it. If it was split, I hated it.
I don't think I watched them enough, but yeah, when I just heard they kept changing their name. Didn't it used to be At the Movies? Was what it was called at
Right,
first.
because they were on PBS.
Yeah,
And then they got into a kerfuffle with PBS and went out on their own. That was At the Movies, and then they got into another kerfuffle with the producers of that, and then with the third thing was Siskel and Ebert, or Ebert and Siskel.
boy, just the At the Movies. When I say it, I salivate like a dog because I think of the popcorn they showed at the beginning and the cola pouring out. I think they showed that at the intro. It's like, Pavlov.
I think one of them, like Michael Medved, took over, and because they would always have like guys that would take over the show that they left, and so it was sort of like they just spawned more and more
But
shows.
one of
as
the
the
guys
years on.
got cancer and lost his jaw, and he looked like Howdy Doody toward the end of his life.
Yeah, they actually removed his entire job, and now they both passed away by now.
But I remember Darren saying,
I think Siskel's the one who actually passed away first.
I don't know which one was which.
Oh, the jolly guy was Ebert.
Which one was the short, fat one?
Ebert.
Okay.
Siskel was the semi bald headed guy.
That fits then. I like the way that Siskel would Ebert. That was never mind. Tony could do that better than me.
Ebert. The problem is, when I started to do that thing for Brilliant Garbage, I had never done anything except Ebert. Just actually turning it into like dialogue like that. I surprised myself.
You aced it.
That was one take.
You did it great. That's how it is. A lot of it is. That's one take. I would talk about some of the things I did for Steve if he would. Never mind. Wendy Lou said, I have watched a couple of those videos, and most of the things they mention are common. And of course, they're common knowledge.
But you figure they're geared towards kids who don't know a damn thing about anything anymore.
That's fine. If Music Mongoose or Rock and Roll True Stories, if they say, Leonard Skinner, they died in a plane crash.
They were named after their high school teacher.
Yeah, they would just kind of say it, and it's like, well, I know this story. I don't need to watch. It's just that professor of rock. You got to watch to see what I'm talking about, Tony. That he's the most annoying. I don't hate him. I don't wish ill upon him, but I just like I had to unsubscribe or just like block him because I can't stand. It's kind of clickbaity, and just the way he's so. I know a lot of it is he sometimes interviews like the real people, and he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. And that's kind of part of his thing. Oh, he talks about bad stuff. No, he does. I've never seen him say bad about any celebrity. That's my main thing is this. Did they do something that they're kind of ashamed of? Because if I'm going to watch this, I don't want to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
One of them, I watched one of them today, and they talked about how Pink Floyd almost made an album of household objects. And they did, and it wasn't. It's like, okay, I'll click on it. And that was Music Mongoose. And it was actually informational. He actually played clips of some of their songs that they did with the household objects. And it was pretty good sounding. But it was just too much work to make an album with it. But it wasn't just hitting an egg beater. They actually worked on it for a week until it sounded like a hi-hat. They actually really worked at it. But it was too much work. And I got to pee really bad. So everybody... thank you for hanging out. Even Batmobiles have to. Anyway, take care, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. See you, Wendy Lou. See you, Gottschalk. See you, Laura, Tedesco, and Lewis, if you're still here.
Steve, if you're still out there, come on, man. Just grow up here.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, take care, everybody.